Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese, episode 315. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Mark Augustiniak.
Hey there.
Matt Sellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Boy, do we have a show today. Got the ABCs of gaming, starting with Astral Chain, through Blair Witch, down to Control. We got some emails brought to you by the email address podcast@thefreecheese.com. That's right. If you want to be part of the show, you can email in podcast@thefreecheese.com. Before we get started, though, Mark, are you okay?
Am I okay?
There's no image of Frankie Muniz in or around your profile on Xbox.
Oh. Yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't. I feel like I'm starting to burn myself out on it.
That's fair. No,
So-
I get it. Everywhere you look, you see Frankie.
I forgot I changed it. Is it the Battletoads thing? Or is it. No, it's ODST.
Yeah.
It's Buck.
Okay.
It's nice to do that.
Okay. Yeah,
We
no.
were playing yesterday, and then I'm so used to seeing Jack Tretton because of Xbox, and
Sure.
then I forgot in Discord, I saw my little
yeah.
Phil Spencer. I was, yeah, that's right. I got Phil in the Discord.
Every time Matt talks,
Yeah.
you see Phil Spencer.
No, yeah, I do that sometimes. I go a little, I guess, overboard with it. And now,
I get it.
Yeah, you know.
I get it. Matt, you doing all right?
Yeah, we got a jam-packed show. Is your boy Skinny Penis gonna be here today?
Oh, he is showing up.
God.
Before he does, though, Saturday, August 31st, 2019 is the 20th anniversary of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I ask you, would any of us really be here without it?
I mean, I was here before it.
But could you have survived 1999 without Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
Yeah.
Could you have become the man you are sitting at the table without Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
My mind wouldn't be
There you go.
the same.
There
for
you
sure.
go.
You know,
I mean,
there's just some songs like I mean, as soon as you hear the beginning of the Superman, what do I think? Breaking Glass.
yeah, I mean,
You go down
most songs I
going down a
associate
ramp.
with breaking glass, but I mean, honestly, all hyperbole aside, I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, the music alone, like you could just talk about the music for 6 hours about how influential it was on my entire taste.
probably-
of all of that.
Oh yeah, agreed. I mean, my history with it is with the 64. So I didn't have like the full music.
No,
I didn't
we
realize
got
that at
we
the
got
time.
the 2-minute clips and then they restarted.
That
I
are
only
just
knew
instrumentals.
Yeah,
It's not even.
yeah.
But it's still.
But man,
it
I
still resonated with
love
me.
Police
like,
Truck.
Like that game, that blue cartridge, everything just it's still set a certain like atmosphere
Yeah.
that I really appreciate.
Oh, and then I got Tony Hawk 2 on PS1, and
It definitely made me a
Wide
poser
open.
skater for sure. Like I was never really one, but I always wanted to be one.
I got out there. I was never good, but I
No.
at least tried.
I just dressed like Fred Durst.
I
and
got,
just-
enough scars and shit somewhere. I got under the beard, I got a big old scar. I used to be able to put my pinky in when it was a fresh wound.
give me a raise
Easy on the
scooter.
Fred Durst stuff. I'm still
Yeah.
bitter about the no show times on my movie.
It'll come. It'll come.
I was all ready to go.
It'll be online. Don't worry.
Yeah, How the Mighty Have Fallen. Those
Sorry.
games.
Tony Hawk's 4 is one of those games that I've started where I've learned to just argue my points and who the fuck cares what other people think.
4?
Because I like 4 a lot.
Yeah, you're
4 was the
wrong.
last one I played. I didn't play really 2 or 3 that much. I was just out of the loop. But I played 4 on Xbox.
You never played 2 or 3?
I played a little bit of 2, but not enough to really like envelop in it.
3, I think, had the most impact
Which
on
one?
my musical
I own
taste.
3 on PS1.
Which one could you create a character?
Ooh.
I know 4 you can, but like 2 or 3 was the first one to implement it.
I don't think you could in 2.
Then maybe it was
so
3
had to
that
be
I played.
3.
See, I don't remember a lot of music.
But was it 3 PS2 though?
3, I played PS2.
I don't remember.
I'm thinking PS1 then. So maybe it was.
Because there was a little bit of difference in 2
Yeah.
and 1.
Yeah, and the one sticks out to me the most.
Yeah. I mean, 1 still has
I
just...
mean, I remember that. I don't even remember what game, but I remember playing the demo for that
Yeah.
on a game more
Mhm.
probably than the game itself.
It just, I mean, it revolutionized so much, and I mean, goddamn, the stupid annualization of video games just ruins them. But I don't know, man, that was huge. Like, I mean, it was perfect at that perfect like melding point between just the break of the turn of the century. That sounds like a weird term to say.
But I mean, no,
But-
I mean, it affected, skateboarding, the X Games, everything was up there, man. Like, Rocket Power
everything
was a show.
there. The corn nuts were on store shelves.
Tech Decks.
Oh my god.
Then Tony Hawk Pro Skater game themed Tech Decks.
Yeah, as it should be. People wearing fucking World Industries shirts.
I always wanted one.
Yeah.
Never got one.
My brother always had the shirts, never got the board.
I think I had a Chad Muska shirt because he was my favorite in the first game. I didn't know who he was. I just liked it. I just liked his boards.
It's always a Costin dude.
How about the other like spin-offs that you got off that, right? You had the BMX games.
Actually,
was that Dave Mira?
Dave Mira.
Yes. Dave Mira's BMX.
Dave Mira. You had
Kelly Slater surfing game.
I actually had X.
Yeah,
Games.
I had that game, by the way.
X Games for
okay.
PS2.
Yeah.
That was just a skateboard game.
Yeah.
Now that soundtrack also sticks out to me a lot.
That's a bop.
There's a couple bops.
I remember Sean Palmer's snowboarding
Yep.
not being too bad on PS2.
See, once I saw those, I looked at them as ripoffs, even though they had the same
the same
logo
logo
and it
change,
was
yeah.
probably the same company,
I think
right?
it was. I mean, same publisher. I don't
Yeah.
think Neversoft developed all of them.
Right. And I'm like, get
Yeah.
out of here. You're not Tony.
I remember we my brother and I rented Sean Palmer and really liked it, so we ended up buying it. And that one too had a really good soundtrack. It was the closest to the Tony Hawk stuff.
Sorry, Matt Hoffman had the BMX. Dave Mira had one, but it's a different developer.
Right. Okay. Wasn't there? Oh, I don't know if it's by the same people. Is there one with jet skis?
Jet skis. There's Jet Moto.
It was like for PS2.
Not that I remember in that vein.
So there was like these dirt bike games, this game, and something else. But I remember a lot of that shared a lot of the same music, and I heard Sum 41 on like all of them.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what leaned me into liking Sum 41, believe it or not, were these games. So actually, yeah, thank Tony Hawk for a lot of my music choices.
It's true.
There was a wakeboarding one. I'm trying to figure out who was featured on.
Oh yeah.
It was actually a lot of fun. The demo was.
I remember playing the demo from like a dumb thing.
Just some guy named Raymundo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I don't think
Was
Ben
it
and
Sean
I
Murray?
would have
Might be Sean
ever.
Murray.
I don't think Ben and I would have ever become Ben and I in the way that Ben and I become Ben and I if it weren't for these games. Like the music. This is my first exposure to shit like Primus and the Dead Kennedys and just that whole like skate rat fucking be outside on a thrash.
Yeah.
Like
I
that
mean,
was
I would
all-
take my brother's skateboard, even though it was way too big for me, and I would still try to do stuff with it.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite thing to try to do. I forgot is it called a catwalk?
Catwalk.
I don't know what the name of the trick is, where it's like the board's on its side and you're standing on the side of the board and the wheels.
Oh,
and you're
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
just
yeah.
like kind of stilting.
Primo walk. I know like that is called Primo when it's on its side. I forget.
I don't know.
Catwalk might be it. You might be right.
I don't know.
Crab walk.
Maybe.
Do a little arch.
Yeah. Then I switch to scooters.
Yeah.
Just never make fun of me for knowing wrestling moves, okay?
Dude, in the snowboard game,
Skateboarding moves are badass though.
maybe it's
So our fucking step up Insiguri's, you know?
it might have been PS1, but my favorite snowboarding move was called Stiffy.
Stiffy's good. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a skateboard move either. Do they share moves? I feel like they might.
Some of them have to bleed over.
Surfboard, snowboard, skateboard.
Like yeah, because the grabs are kind of the same, right? Like indie,
Yeah.
melon. Anyway, happy 20th anniversary to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Let's not make another one anytime soon.
Oh man, but they could. I still go back to that. I mean, that is just one of the most playable games.
I think I even had it for Game Boy Color.
Time. Game Boy games were
The Game Boy
completely
Advance
different,
too.
but super good. Yeah,
Yeah.
super good.
Yeah, I had 2 on Game Boy Advance. I may have had Tony Hawk 1 on Game Boy Color. I don't know. Now I can't remember. But I definitely had one
I
of
also
the
had a
advanced ones.
WWF game on Game Boy Color.
I did as well.
With that, I'm going to move us into a little segment we call Now Playing, where we talk about the games we played this week. I already know we're going to talk about Astral Chain, Blasphemous, because we've all played that. We'll talk about Control, but Mark, you and I played Blair Witch.
Yep.
Do you want to describe for the audience and for the Matthew what Blair Witch is? Premise? What's the setup?
Okay, so, well, the game is a licensed game from the movie franchise, if anyone is not aware, which was, based on people going into the woods with a camera in the 90s, looking for some urban legend, and things don't pan out well. And they decide to not really follow any of that in this game. You are some cop, I guess.
So to try and pull back and be as objective as possible, You play as, seemingly some sort of cop named Ellis, who is investigating the disappearance of a boy named Peter Shannon.
Yeah.
Who disappeared in the woods.
But it's not just you looking for him.
That's true.
It's you and your trusty dog, Bullet.
You and your dog, Bullet. But it is... the boy went missing in Burkittsville, Maryland, which is where the infamous or famous Blair Witch Project movie took place.
Which I don't think is even a real town.
Burkittsville is a real town.
Is it?
It is.
But
Katie and I were looking it up because we wanted to go live there, but
Right.
it turns out there's only like 42 houses there, and people are very...
But where they filmed was different. Like for the first movie, I think.
Yeah, I think
it was a different location.
They filmed kind of in like Frederick County,
Which
out there.
is mentioned in this game too.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that in there. We'll get to another little local mention that popped up that I liked, and I'm sure Matt will appreciate. So yeah, you and your dog Bullet are out in the woods to go find a lost boy. When you arrive on the scene at the beginning of the game, the police have all the police cars are there, and they're already in the woods looking with caution tape marking their path. So you kind of follow along the path to try and find the boy.
Yeah, this is like a first person. I mean, obviously it's a horror game, but
So the developer of this is Bloober Team, who previously made Layers of Fear, Observer, and Layers of Fear 2.
yeah.
So the first trailer for this at E3 this year was really impressive, I thought.
Silent Hill vibes.
Super Silent Hill vibes. Like, we were all sitting there like, did someone make PT?
Mm-hmm.
And there was a trailer, I think, at Gamescom that it immediately shifted my like perception of what this game was going to be. And then starting the game last night, the second that you gain control of the character in the car, I knew my expectations dropped in, like, almost.
As soon as I saw his face, I just kind of knew.
Yeah, like when I saw the dog, when I saw Bullet in the passenger seat of the truck, and I was like, oh, okay. It's just very like the character models are really stiff.
This is.
Where are you playing it on?
Xbox One.
Xbox One.
He's a 1S and I'm a 1X.
Yes.
No difference.
I think that's going to be a theme of today's episode here a little bit.
Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about where we've been playing things. So the game, you kind of get to the woods, you get out, and you're just meant to go into the woods. You can use the right bumper to call up kind of your inventory, and the left bumper gives Bullet commands. You can pet the dog, you get an achievement for that. You can ask Bullet to go seek things, right? So you might find a piece of trash and be like, hey, this might be a fucking candy bar that Peter was eating. Smell it. Go find the boy.
More or less limited to like a Fallout meat. What's meat?
It's pretty limited. Like, you are like left bumper, pushing a direction. He'll go do the command. The animations seem delayed too. I don't know if you had that. Where
there's times where like you are like interrupting an animation of his, and then he has to reposition himself to actually go do things.
Yeah, like if you tell him to go find something, you'll start hearing him smell and sniff.
Dog meat. God, I couldn't think of his name.
You'll hear him like sniff and smell around, but he's still like standing still, and then the animation will kind of cut in.
Yeah.
So the first bit of the game, I was wandering through the woods a lot, and you're just kind of like, I got lost. And at first I was like, oh, okay. I was playing it. Katie was sitting next to me, and we were kind of like, oh, they're doing the Blair Witch thing where like you intentionally feel like you're walking in circles so that you're lost, and you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But it never like clicked. Like nothing ever took that turn. And I realized because you have to find something first, but like, it just felt like
there's, like you think you'd be exploring a lot more than you think, but in reality, this is a very linear game.
Super linear.
It makes you think you're getting lost in exploring, and it will purposely reset the map to make you go in a circle.
Yeah, but what I do like is, right, like, so the first section, you find a couple of things. You find some trash, you find some whatever, and you're kind of looking around.
It's a good build-up.
And then you find a Baltimore Crows hat, the famous local sports team, the Baltimore Crows.
Well, I thought it was like a Little League thing.
I don't.
That's how I took it, because those things exist.
I know, but I just thought about the Ravens, and I was just like, yeah, the Baltimore Crows, that classic team.
Yeah.
And so you find that hat, and then that's when the first kind of thing pushes you forward, and all of a sudden, The dog, because if you walk up to a section of like brush that seems impassable, it is like you can't just push your way through it. But this suddenly bullet runs through it and you follow after him. And that kind of that kind of disguises the loading screen. Mm-hmm. So it kind of loads in the new area while you're like kind of walking through this intense whatever. It's really I thought that was really clever. And then you kind of walk in and you're in a new area and it feels like, oh, okay, now I'm on a new path. I'm walking somewhere.
And like at the same time, there's like subplots happening where you have this history with your kind of on and off lover Jess.
Yeah.
You talked to her on like your 90s ass cell phone.
Did you play Snake on it, by the way?
I did.
Yeah.
I played all the games on it.
Snake.
I changed my theme. I changed the ringtone.
Yeah. Because I was sitting there trying to find where to go. Like that first area, I was in there for like probably 30 minutes just walking in circles, to the point where like Katie had her phone out and she was like, "I'll be back. I'm gonna go get a drink." And like walked upstairs and I was like, I didn't want to miss anything. So I was like, I'm just gonna play Snake for a few minutes.
Did you call every number in your phone book?
I called a lot of them. I called the pizza guy a lot. Did you call?
I only did once.
Oh, call him like 6 or 7 times.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Does he yell at you?
he gets real mad.
Nice.
Because you keep telling him you're not gonna order pizza, and he gets pretty pissed off.
Okay.
And then you may or may not get an achievement. So that's the part that I kind of don't like. The kind of flashback stuff where you're taken into the memories of Ellis.
Yeah, he's like a veteran.
Yeah, veteran.
PTSD or something?
Yeah, like this whole game is more about Ellis's PTSD than it is about real horrors happening in the woods. Because then you start to question, like, is this stuff happening or is it in his head? And it gets to the point where, like, his nightmares become reality. Like, you're...
It's kind of wasn't like that what Blair Witch Project did, though? The movie? Like, nothing ever really, like, happened to them. It was more...
I see it as more of, like, a Scarecrow thing. Where, like, Scarecrow is the reason why you're having these hallucinations. Sure. Like, he puts that fear gas in you. This whole Blair Witch
and it feels
thing.
very Scarecrowish. Like, having just come off Arkham Asylum and I've played a little bit of City this week, like, you get a lot of that stuff in
But
it.
yeah, but, like, itself, there's really not a lot. You never really see what this witch is. You always hear about it,
but
you know? Like in the movies.
Yeah, but in the game, they do like bring a figure to life.
There's like a pseudo Alan Wake thing going on here,
and there's like so you have to shine the light on these. Like occasionally, you'll get this kind of like subtle vibration, and the bullet will start going crazy and looking around, and the edges will start to get darker and maybe red sometimes, and then you kind of hear things running behind you. You just shine your light, and they just kind of like...
Well, red means you're getting hit.
Yeah, you're getting hit.
Yeah.
You'll shine the light, and they kind of burst into embers, and they die. But like...
It's like these weird lanky...
Yeah, they look like leaf monsters or something.
Yeah. But it's funny because... were you playing with headphones on?
No, because it was Katie and I were on the couch.
Oh, I was playing with my earbuds, and as they go by, I don't know if you can hear it on TV, but like as they go by, it sounds like bullet ricochets. So like,
interesting. I mean, I could definitely tell some
spatial
audio
like
was happening
PTSD
a little bit. Yeah,
like he's getting shot.
Well, the further you get in the game too, the more it sounds like bullets, and the more it becomes just bullets and fucking missiles and stuff.
But he wasn't very convincing as a character that was suffering through all this and going through all of it. It just felt like somebody just reading a script and just didn't know how to be.
I would say that like the script writing and like the delivery was probably the weakest part of this.
He's good at being mad, but that's about it.
I do really like the sense of being lost in the woods though, because that is so much of what was ingrained in the first movie is them just kind of getting turned around and being like, wait a second, I'm here.
Yeah.
And the game does a thing where as you're walking through, you'll find video camcorder, and then you'll find videotapes. And these videotapes, as you put them in, you learn that you can manipulate time.
The red ones.
Yeah. So you're you pop in the tape and you're watching it, and you see the little boy Peter who's missing playing with this little car. And as the tracking goes by, right, to whatever, the duration of the video, as it passes the part where he's playing with the car, you off in the periphery of your real reality, you see the car, you see this flashing red and blue kind of appear. So you start rewinding and it's disappearing. You start playing it forward and it appears.
Playing with the cop car.
So if you pause it right at the point where the kid's holding it, you can see it in reality. You can actually walk over and pick up the toy. And they play with that a little bit more. Like the more you go through, you're kind of finding more tapes and you're moving things, and all of a sudden now a tree that has fallen is now raised back up so you can get through an area.
So it's progressing your actual main campaign here.
Yeah.
So it's not like I was thinking Arkham Origins had that detective system where you were kind of manipulating time to find evidence, but it is more impacting like
your actual reality, which again bleeds into the whole idea that his grip on reality is not quite there.
Yeah.
And you get I don't know. There's that element is pretty neat to mess with time and all of that, because also the game kind of has these time jumps where all of a sudden he wakes up and he's like, what? Why is it daylight again? You know what I mean?
Like, I did like that one where like you had to start up the truck.
Yeah.
And as soon as you like turn the key in the ignition to turn the lights on, it just becomes daytime.
And
he actually is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So like that was cool.
That was neat. I really like the kind of like dread that sets in as Bullet starts barking at like the haunted ornaments that are hanging from the trees that have like the pictures of the missing inside of them. And I think that the way the developers integrated vibration into the controller and with what's happening in the game kind of draws you in a little bit more. That was the one thing I felt like Katie was missing out on, not holding the controller and just sitting beside me while I played, was that like little bit where like you can kind of feel someone, if someone's coming from your right, they just vibrate the right side of the controller, which was really, I thought that was effective.
Mm-hmm.
This game, however, probably don't play it if you have dogs. Earl and Oswald were losing their minds, especially Earl. Earl was constantly, he was like bashing his head into the TV. He was I don't know how that TV is not like destroyed. He was, the whole time I was playing, he was standing on that little entertainment center, like full standing up and just screaming at the TV. And then like I'd have to like turn the camera to like get Bullet out of the frame of view. And if Bullet like ran by, Earl was like running.
Just tell Bullet to stay and walk away from him. You had to abandon your dog.
He was like running up and down the front of the TV.
Was
like
it just the barking, or was it?
It was the barking. It was the animation of the dog. Like he just saw, and it was kind of similar to what he does with my neighbor's dog, where he just sees him and just like barks and goes crazy and gets excited because he's just, hey, there's a pal, you know. But he was just like losing his shit.
Yeah, I think Bullet was the driving point for me in this game. Like I did everything to care about. Like I knew, like if I would take the time to pet him. We needed to be petted.
Yep.
You know, tell him to stay close.
And that keeps you sane as well in the game.
I never scolded him. I gave him all the dog treats in my bag.
That's good.
but he had to like deserve them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to spoil him right away. So like so when he was scared that first time, gave him a treat. Yeah. When he helped me fight the thing for the first time, gave him a treat.
Yeah.
Then I saved the final one till like towards the end.
So you had an interesting experience that I did not have.
It's not the first time.
Yes.
Either. Like I recorded a clip online of what is stopping me from finishing this game.
So what happened? Could you describe?
Okay. So what I ran into is that it's some kind of, apparently I'm not the only one. I found other people had this issue, but like this game just has a problem with loading key parts.
Yeah.
Like the whole sawmill puzzle I had trouble with because an item didn't load for me. Ugh. And I had to reload the game for it to appear.
Yeah. So
in this case, I think I'm like right near the very end. I just have to do just one last part and then like some cutscene. I wake up at this campsite and I have to go up into this house because that's apparently where this boy is. According to the footage, he's locked in his basement. So, all right, it's raining. There's a bunch of these hanging, Blair Witch signs everywhere now. And like the frame rate is like 15 to 20. Oh. It is actually, I don't know if it's raining, but it's still bad.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I can't interact with all my objects. There's usually pieces of paper you can pick up that gives you documentations on about like a patient from like a psych's point of view, and it's alluding that you're the patient.
Yeah.
I couldn't pick it up off the rock, even though it was giving me the okay, because usually it's just there's a dot above something, and it's like, okay, there means there's an item here. Then once it turns into a triangle, that means you can interact with it. Triangle was there, couldn't do it, wouldn't pick up. I'm just gonna take it as the lore here with that. Yeah, it was raining. Wet paper on a rock, can't pick it up.
Right.
It's just stuck.
Yeah.
Then I found the tape. Blah. So I go up to the house that you're supposed to go in, And now I watched footage of people who didn't have this issue just to make sure that what I was dealing with wasn't, it wasn't supposed to be there. As soon as you open the front door to this house, there was just a big ass boulder that takes up the entire living room. Like, to floor to ceiling, you only have like a corner that where you can hang your coats. I'm like, I can't go in here. There's no other way into this house. There's no other secret doors. You can't go around back because rocks and everything have formed around it. Because I know before you pick up everything, if you go up that hill, there's no house there.
Right.
So I think it was a loading issue of trying to take out one thing and put in another.
Yeah.
And it just happened to not go.
Yeah.
And so I went in anyway just to see if, maybe if I walk in, it will refresh and whatever. Maybe something will happen. No, I closed the door and my guy goes, great, locked. So I'm locked in at this point. But now I'm not in the house. I'm in the door. I'm stuck in the closed door in between this rock. If I just look around, I am moving up and down all over the place. I can see outside. All the noise stopped. I'm just stuck.
You got Andromeda.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. And then you said too, and I've restarting the console, the app.
I've reloaded it so many times.
That's a bummer.
That sucks.
Generally though,
it's a janky game.
It is, but I like it. And that's the weird thing is like I kind of like what they did with some of the puzzle stuff. I kind of like the weird exploration.
I felt like, to me, a lot of it seemed like they were just trying to stretch out things to make it seem worthwhile.
I agree. I think that some of the flashback stuff, like I could have done without, and this could have been a more effective, impactful game. Just being kind of alone in the woods and that feeling, like, if Bullet had run off at some point and you're left and like you're just in the dark, like I think that could have been a neat thing to play with. But I kind of stepped back from that and just said like, okay, well, this is the game that they made, so what can I like about it? And I don't know, I enjoy it.
It's not really, it doesn't, I mean, despite everything that happened, it doesn't really feel like a horror game to me. It feels more of just like a thriller, like a psychological thriller.
Yeah, like I'm not scared playing it.
No, I mean,
I think there was like one jump scare that kind of got me like, ooh, but
like, and they keep using like the same one of like the lady's face.
Yeah,
and it's not even scary. It's just a pair of eyes, just whatever. No, but like a lot of it made me feel like they were just trying. If I'm exploring somewhere, like I said, like it'll reset the map to make you purposely feel like you're supposed to be wandering. It's just a lot of illusions to me that I feel that they lean a little too much on. So with the puzzle solving and like exploring and trying to find stuff, like there's not really a lot to interact with, and then like there's a lot of times where they make you feel that you're going the wrong way or you're doing something wrong when really that's what is supposed to be happening. So like if there's a fight in the beginning of a game and you lose, you're meant to lose. Yeah. So it's just a bunch of that repetitively throughout each chapter of this game. So it's like, all right, this is more of just like a borderline on rails experience. You're just going through all these motions.
A walking simulator.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's kind of like that. And for a game where you're, based on exploring the woods, it just kind of feels backwards to me.
I will say it's
a good personal journey for him, but as a game being in the woods, it just doesn't feel.
I mean, if there were if you handed me the keys to this and said, do what you will, this is not the game I would have made, but I'm appreciating what they did make. And I think being on Game Pass, I think is the perfect spot for this.
If I had to pay money for it right away, I probably would have waited.
Yeah, 1,000%
for trying it. I thought it was going to be like Slender at first, where you're just in just this one part and you just have to collect stuff while something's chasing you.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of glad it's not.
Yeah,
that I do like going through this, seeing the story, because I did get involved. I made sure Bullet was as okay as possible the entire time. I actually. If I had service, I made sure to call Jess.
Yeah, I was making phone calls. I was calling the other numbers. I was sending text messages.
Like I got achievements for mending our relationship. Like,
oh, interesting.
I was like, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
It was a diamond. So,
so there. Matt, questions on Blair Witch?
No, I think it fits the theme of that movie. Besides the PTSD, because like. Blair Witch Project, really not a scary movie, more like a midsummer slow burn. Like, what's going on here? But it never climaxes in a way, but in a good way. Almost.
Yeah. Because there's just that running thread of tension.
Oh, I mean, like,
and you put yourself in it.
Whenever I say it in a movie, I'm also referring to like the original first one.
Well,
I forgot about the later one that is just the same name.
Right, which was fine.
So has canon to the first one because it's someone's. Isn't it the sister or the cousin or something like that?
Couldn't even tell you.
I watched it. It was fine.
But I love the eeriness that whole, I guess, universe sets up for or that kind of lore.
I agree. Well, speaking of some weird console jank, Matt, you got to get into Control this week, the latest game from Remedy.
Yes, I did. I did not play it on console. And it seems to be a good thing.
That's probably a good thing.
This was the second game that came with my graphics card when I bought it. The first one being Wolfenstein. Can confirm right off the bat, Control, you can pause the game. Look at that. Can Blair Witch, can you pause the game?
You can
pause the game. God damn, what a year we're in. Yeah, Control. First impressions, I'm probably about 4 or 5 hours into this thing now. First impressions, very good. It's probably made up for Wolfenstein already, making it worth that 2-pack that I did indeed get. But yeah, speaking about the weird, this is like, I think you said it best last time we were talking about it. It's like an X-Files episode, but extended and long and weird. So you play as Jesse Faden, and the game literally starts with her monologuing to you, and that sort of plays into the narrative as well. Like, you are a part of Jesse, and that as you kind of peel back the layers of this game, that becomes more of a thing.
This sounds like Alan Wake already.
Yeah. And you just walk into this building, and it's a federal bureau. It's called the Federal Bureau of Control. And it's just eerily empty. There's no one around. You're just walking around. You find this random janitor who's like, oh, go to that elevator. But it wasn't there before. Now it's there. And then you walk into this room, and the director of the Federal Bureau of Control is dead.
Cool.
Apparent either suicide or homicide is kind of up for debate. And then a couple things happen, and you all of a sudden are the director of the Federal Bureau of Control.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right.
And you're probably asking yourself a lot of questions already, like what, why, how? I'm asking myself the same questions, but it's so well done in how they do it. It's just like mission by mission, they peel back just another thin layer, and it's not enough to have you know what's going to happen next, but it's not enough to like have you stop playing the game because you're not getting anywhere. And also to that, something in games that with games like this, I don't really, I end up not reading all the lore that's around like the building. Or it can fall out. Like when you get to some buildings, it's just like, all right, I get it. I just want to hack the terminal, get my experience, and get out.
Like BioShock, you get the audio logs, and they play in the background, and you kind of like tune out. And
like I get it. Rapture's fucked up, but this,
right?
It's, I don't know. I'm so intrigued. I'm actually reading each document, and the documents, like it's very well done because you can tell they're doing the Metroidvania thing because different levels have different security clearances, and you're getting Metal Gear Solid style. Like you're getting security code access 1, then 2, then 3 as you progress through the story. So you're going back to these things, and then you're getting into security clearance room level 2. But these documents, when you read them, they have that confidential blackouts over important things, and a lot of them at the very end it keeps like refer to blacked out redacted. for more information.
So
and
you
like,
kind of have to piece together.
And it's like you kind of are getting it, but like there's important names that you can see are crossed out. There's the different specific events that are crossed out, and so you're kind of piecing this all together. Well, the Federal Bureau, their main thing in this game is they are kind of like the Men in Black in a weird way. They deal with things called AWEs, Altered World Events, and they kind of go in, they clean up the mess of like these like astral plane events kind of happen in these other dimension things.
Oh shit! Did they just link all their other games together? Is
that... Maybe, I don't know. I'm not there yet. But and it goes along with Jesse's first monologue of saying like, have you ever been in a room and there's the only thing there is just a painting or a portrait or whatever. What if there was more to that room behind the portrait? Well, I've seen it, and I'm trying to get back to it. And that's when you walk into the building. And so you're kind of exploring like what exactly these alter world events are. There are these things called objects of power, where it's kind of like a little bit different than the Annabelle doll, but the Annabelle doll just has all this power of darkness inside of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing. There's just like these objects around this building that carry all this power, and that's kind of how you get your powers in this game. You kind of harness their power. So for one, like you kind of go up to this safe, and when you encounter these in the building, they're not like boss fights per se. They're more like little puzzle things. But like I got to a safe, and I had to like beat down the shield that the safe was creating around itself. Well, you harness the power of the safe. You go into an astral plane to kind of practice this new ability, and it's the shield, like a safe protecting. You get the shield. So there's different objects of power that you're finding throughout this building to grant you these different powers. And there's ones of like at some point I'll be able to like, kind of float in the air. You can kind of grab stuff off the ground, kind of like Jedi Force powers, and throw them. Even if like nothing's around, you can just grab a chunk from the wall and just throw it at someone. It's cool. Absolutely amazing. There's like like dodges, and some of this I saw in Quantum Break, and I'm getting a lot of vibes of Quantum Break because of the way this game plays.
It's the same engine,
the Northlight storytelling engine.
Now, avid listeners will pick up on the fact that Matt was pantomiming a lot of telekinetic motions with his hands.
Sorry, I just...
No. No, but the way you're doing that real naturally seems to indicate to me, as someone standing in front of you and looking at you, that the game kind of leans in heavy to a mix of that in the combat, right?
Yeah, it kind of has a little bit of the rock paper scissors thing to the mechanics too. Like shields, if an enemy has a shield, you are going to probably want to throw something at them because your powers take out shields, but their regular health, like your weapons are gonna. Sorry, your weapon is going to be your best friend. And that takes me to the weapon. This weapon system's the coolest thing. It's just one weapon, and it just changes as you upgrade it. So it's called the service weapon, and you actually pick it up from the director. And because you harness his power, that's kind of one of the reasons why he became the director of the Federal Bureau of Control randomly. So it changes. Like the first thing I got is just like a standard handgun. And it has like bullets, kind of, but to reload it, you just have to wait, and it's like a cooldown thing. And that's kind of like the theme of your powers as well. Like you'll have like an energy meter, and if you just wait, the cooldown, it'll just refill. And it's pretty fast. It's nothing like too extremely slow. But then as you're upgrading it, the same, like now I have a shotgun equivalent with this weapon. It's the same kind of like bullet bar, kind of like, because it pops up under your reticule. So you'll see it kind of decline, and the chunks of the shotgun take up more of that space. Okay. So, and the same thing, just you wait and you let it reload. The gameplay itself, Quantum Breaks, you felt heavy in a weird way. It didn't feel like you should have been that heavy in a game where you're manipulating time and these like, air quote force powers or whatever. This feels a lot more loose, more fast, and that does many things for this game. I feel in control, as they would say. And that makes the gameplay really good. I really like going into all these different encounters. There's a bunch of different enemy types. Of course, there's ones that like fly around and use their own like kind of force powers on you. There's kind of like the equivalent of an enemy that kind of like comes at you and to try to explode to take you down. You have to try to take them down before they get close to you, because when you kill them, they'll also do like a mini explosion trying to take out some people. But yeah, kind of going through my notes, seeing if I got everything. The side stuff, like I said, I like the confidential stuff, but there is one weird, creepy thing, and you can tell these people made Alan Wake, the goddamn Threshold kids. What the fuck that is weird.
What's the Threshold kids?
So in the Federal Bureau of Control, in these office buildings, you'll find a random TV from time to time that you interact with. when you interact with it, it will cut to the TV and it will play a show called The Threshold Kids. Mm-hmm. And it's these odd, creepy looking puppets doing like little 2-minute episodes about things regarding the Federal Bureau of Control. The first one I watched was something about my mom is dead and about missing her. And the dude's like, this other puppet is like, oh, I'm sorry, we can try to find them together. And the way they're talking is so creepy. And the timing of their conversation, you just expect like this jump scare and it never happens. Ooh. And there's multiple episodes. I found 2.
And they're meant to like placate kids? Is that the idea?
I guess. I don't know. It's fucking creepy. The first one I watched, I was just all relaxed on my computer. Like, oh yeah, I'm fucking force power, Jesse, whatever.
Oh yeah, they are weird. Sorry, I'm looking up.
Yeah. And then I found this. I was like, what the fuck? And then that's the other thing about this game too. Like it is not a horror game, but it's definitely leaning into thriller territory, especially with some of the way they do like the vignette storytelling. Because the astral plane is involved, you get some weird cutscenes. There's like one of the objects of power is this telephone, and after you harness the power of this telephone, you now have the ability to kind of connect and hear messages from the previous owner or previous director of the control facility, even though he's dead. So there's a lot going on here that makes this really weird, but in a really cool and good way.
Recommend it?
Yes.
How about console versions?
I can't speak to that too much.
I'm sure.
There's a Digital Foundry video that goes into some deep detail that was what pushed me to say, you know what, I'll wait until some stuff happens. Which Remedy and 505 Games, the game's publisher, both came out and said work on that is being done, but it's
not the press of a button.
Yeah, it's not the press of a button. It will be out when it will be out. There were some weird hiccups with the PC version, which have been resolved, assuming you are up to date on both Windows and your drivers.
Yeah, like the first day that came out, the GeForce Experience had a game-ready driver for Control. So I will say it's really weird seeing all these new graphic options relating back to ray tracing that I've never seen before. It's like, what the fuck? Now, like, that menu was already long enough. Yeah. Now it's like twice as long now. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Have you, just on ray tracing, have you played around with it on and off? Like, this is kind of the big one for ray tracing from what I'm hearing.
No, not yet. Because I want to get this. I'm so distracted by the story, but in a good way, that like I'm so invested in it that I'm kind of forgetting. Like I'm looking at probably the marquee ray tracing game right now. You can definitely tell there's this step above other games, even Wolfenstein, I would say. Yeah. Of like its look, like especially the lighting, like.
Go figure.
Yeah, like it's the lighting's really well done. There is some jarring things though. Like I walked by a puddle, and in a puddle does have like a natural reflection, but it's usually like blurred a little bit. In this game, like the puddle was just a straight up reflection of everything around it, and it was a little jarring. Like it was like a little too reflective almost. But it has to do with with the ray tracing.
Because I mean, technically, that's kind of what happens in reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit blurred, not quite as crisp as that little puddle I walked by. But yeah, the game really does look well, and I like the added some new things to turn off the film grain and stuff. So I'm curious. I want to beat it like as is first, and then I'll go back and kind of mess with some settings, see what's going on there.
Cool.
I know in that, and then my one gripe with this game, and it's a minor gripe. I don't understand why this game has to be open world. Because you can walk around the facility, no problem. I think a part of it is it encourages you to explore, to find these documents to help build the lore around it. And that's the reason. That's fine. But some of I feel like some of the side missions are a little shoehorned in. I did encounter one right before I turned it off last night. It was like a timed mission. It was like a bureau high priority target, and it was timed, so I had only X amount of time to go do it. And then I fast traveled to the closest location, I went there and I died just because I was overwhelmed with enemies, and then the mission was gone. It was like a one-time, one-shot attempt at it. So they do some things with it. I don't know if it needed to do that.
Yeah.
There's one character in particular that offered me a side quest, and at the time right now I feel like it's a waste. But I wonder if that dives into that character a little bit more. And that character, right from the start of the game, it's kind of mysterious. So if it pays off in the end, like their string of missions pans out, that'd be really cool. But the first one was like, why am I doing this? And it was just like throw things into a fire to burn trash. But it was hazardous material. So you're like, why am I throwing hazardous material into a dumpster fire?
For fun?
Yeah. So
for the threshold kids.
So yeah, and then the one bad thing with it being open world is the mini map, but that's part of the things they are addressing in that patch.
Yeah.
It's not like it's there. You can kind of see like the general idea where you need to go, but it's not like quite clear how to get there sometimes. Especially the second area of the game. There's like 2 levels to it, and you kind of have a hard time telling. Am I on the second level or how do I get up there? Because it's not really well shaded on how to get up there.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I don't know. This is like mechanically the best game out there, but man, I had some of the most fun I've had all year playing that game last night. I did not expect to get as sold into it as I did.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it right now. I think Remedy might be one of my favorite developers at the moment, and it makes me want to go back and play Alan Wake because I never played it.
Oh man, yeah, they seem to have a theme with their more recent games where everything is like kind of has like a TV show.
Yeah, they're
element to it.
I think everything is technically in the same universe with them.
Is it? Is that confirmed?
I think there's always like a common thread.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Given everything.
I wouldn't be shocked if Quantum Break and
but the cool
Control
thing,
are in the same universe.
Because Alan Wake has like a TV series that goes on in the background, but it's very akin to Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, this leans into it too a little bit. Yeah, I'm curious to see how they wrap this story up. I know you said in before like they leave their things open ended. Like Quantum Break could easily have a sequel. I don't know if we're ever gonna get it, but I can see where they could go with it next. And I'm curious to see if they do a similar thing here.
Well, why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Blasphemous, Astral Chain, and all the rest.
Dota 2. What?
What? No. The TI's already over, Matt. We'll be right back.
Is it ever over?
It is indeed over.
No, we're already on the build of Stockholm, baby.
Blasphemous is out on
yeah, it's saying it's over.
No. Blasphemous is out on September 10th, but the demo is out, was out. Sorry. You can't play it anymore if you did not download it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to grab it by Sunday the 1st.
Holy shit.
On Steam.
That makes sense.
Give it a go.
I think it's going to be out real soon. So.
We all played it. Mark, tell me about Blasphemous. We've been waiting on the game for a real long time.
Yeah, I've been following the development with this. And, I was like, it's like the one time where this description is used the most accurately. It's a 2D Dark Souls game.
Yes, it really is.
Through and through. There's nothing wrong with that. I love it. Everything is sprite drawn, animated. Fully voiced.
Yeah.
But you play as a guy who is practically in penance for like the rest of his life, and so he's just going around killing all sorts of supernatural demonic beings. Of course at a price.
Yeah.
But like, I think he doesn't talk because of all of that. I think that's a part of his suffering. And that's why he wears that helmet, and it's like a long, pointy, barbed wire.
It's a cool looking helmet
thing. Your main sword, it gets like, well, okay, that's the thing between this and Dark Souls. You don't pick a class. you are just this person with a sword, and you have a skill tree that you can keep upgrading via those save points or whatever they're called.
There's a lot of upgrades.
Yes.
Like, look, there are like multiple different trees and multiple. There's beads you can wear on the rosary that change things. There's different things you can do to your weapon. There's different abilities you unlock. This game seems huge.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, now I see why it was delayed a few times.
It's like it's faster paced in Dark Souls in terms of combat, obviously. Like, you have your pseudo Castlevania-ish like little combo, then you can do a dash and like, you know, it's kind of like slide like underneath or through enemies. You can parry.
It has the Symphony of the Night thing where if you jump and hit, you can do another hit when you touch the ground. So you can kind of do the a la carte, like pop, pop.
I noticed me kind of doing that with the one.
Those fucking candlestick fuckers.
Well, those are kind of easy. The Pope character.
The guy who stabs down?
The floaty, floaty dude with just the... I was like, fuck off. No, it's a beautiful game.
It really is. Like
Metroidvania... Or Egavania, I should say.
Has the fucking map.
Yeah, the map is there.
Yeah, you know, the traversing, you know, it's not too heavy on the platforming. There are some parts where it's just like, I feel like I'm underqualified right now to be in this section where like I don't have the right skill.
There's that, and there's a part where there's one room where you have to climb down a ladder and spikes come out of the wall, and I could never get the timing down on that.
No, there was no way to just slide down the ladder. You can't jump off the ladder. Yeah, you just have to go. You have to get.
You just have to get stabbed.
You can jump off.
Well, I mean, when I try to, I keep landing on the platform above me because he jumps upward.
I keep trying to jump down.
Yeah, I can't.
And I
just
think you have to jump right or left.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to jump down, and it doesn't. Yeah. I think the game was kind of slow to start, like a little bit, but then because I think how fluid the animation is with everything, like everything's kind of breathing and moving always, so you feel like you're in Symphony of the Night, and that you should be zipping through the game in the way that you do with Symphony. At least that was my kind of thing.
Right.
But
it's definitely
when you slow down and you're like, no, this is super Dark Souls inspired. You can kind of like
it makes you take your time.
Yeah, because I kept dying so much to those fucking dudes with the 3 candlestick things, and it was because like I wasn't rolling. I was just trying to like hit them and take them out, but.
I couldn't figure out the time on the parry with them.
I was like hit or miss.
Yeah, I was probably batting 300 with that.
But I think, you know, ultimately that gameplay challenge is going to be good for me. I think it'll be cool to...
Same. Yeah, like I was going very just gung-ho about everything, and then once I started slowing down, I started to pay a little more attention, even though some parts were a little bullshit. But like when you die, you're not losing whatever the equivalent of souls is necessarily.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you can still go and pick them up. They're like tears or whatever, but like instead, your like meter for like special attacks gets shortened.
Right. And
it starts to rot.
The cool thing is, though, I didn't make it back to my dude and died another time.
Right.
Which just means you leave 2 dudes behind and you can go get both of them. Like, it's not like the Souls, Bloodborne, whatever.
Yeah, we're going to have like...
Once you have one twice.
Yeah, once you die twice, you lost. Like,
no, they're everywhere.
You just keep going back and finding your old corpses or whatever. The remnants of your past self.
Yeah. I love the theme of that whole game.
Yeah, it's like it's so fucking cool.
And like the execution moves that you can pull off.
Oh, they're brutal.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's just I like at first I tried with a mouse and keyboard because I couldn't pair my controller right away. Oof. I just wanted to get the game loading.
Yeah. I looked at the controls.
Yeah.
On mouse and keyboard. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I should say just keyboard. There's no mouse. I was like, this is. No.
Yeah, no.
It was kind of weird, like kind of buggy at first, but I was like, hey, it's a demo, like it's whatever.
Right.
It's probably why it's like a limited thing. But then I resynced my controller and I was golden. Kind of wish did you get the sword plant?
Yeah, the downward thrust.
Yeah. I kind of wish that would activate a little faster.
I don't know how to activate. Like
you just hold it in, and then once you do the attack in air, he will charge it. It's a charge move. And then
okay. Because I'm like pressing it, it's not happening, and yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool. I mean, everybody splatters once you land on them. Cool. Though. Yeah, there's not much else to it. You do get like 2 flasks every time you restart, and you heal yourself with that.
Yeah, I found a third. Or I found an empty one, but like it didn't apply the. It was like an item because there's like lore in the items you find too and stuff like that, which is really cool.
And then with the shop.
Yeah, I found the shop.
You have to like read to lore to figure out what it does.
Yeah,
like,
and it kind of like says it, but you really gotta like read between the lines of what it is. And the final boss, did you beat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Before that though, did you find a lady?
The one who says like she'll come help you with some shit or yeah.
And I didn't know what either decision meant when you go ascent or descent.
Yeah.
I picked ascent.
Yeah, me too.
Because I was thinking like Dante's Inferno is where it's like you can save a soul or damn it.
Oh, okay.
And that will power up certain meters. And I was like, maybe I'm saving her soul, ascent. But it turns out, she's helping you in the boss fight. If you're by her and you're out of flasks, she'll constantly try to heal you. Like your health goes up if you're by her.
Oh, see, okay. I didn't notice that too. Not to brag, but I didn't need to be healed during that fight. By the time I got to that fight,
it took me 3 tries.
I got it first try because the Dark Souls thing kicked in, where I was like, because I
don't have that background.
I went in, well, the Bloodborne, right? But I never played Dark Souls, but the Bloodborne thing. But I went into it very much still like, okay, big guy, let me just try and. But I was like, no, slow down, and
It was really easy to like pick up on those patterns.
You picked it up because you just kind of like punches the ground, the roots come up, and I was just kind of watching where those were and rolling out of the way, and I did not. That game was already like super anticipated, but now playing it,
and of course every time you save, enemies will respawn.
Yeah.
I did like that they let you save right before the boss fight.
Yep.
So if you just go back in right there.
Yeah, I mean, just the little snippet that we get in this demo, I think it took me maybe a little more than 30 minutes to kind of see everything through. And
it's cool that along with lore that there is also a story, a main story to follow along with it. Instead of, I mean, I don't have a problem with going and just figuring it out by going everywhere and whatever and piecing it off the lore, but I like that there's also like a main reason you're doing all this too.
I agree. Blasphemous, final thoughts?
I love it.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for it.
It's fine.
I mean, it's good. It's good for a demo. I'm not gonna. I have high hopes. I'm sure. I feel like the full game's probably gonna be a little more better polished. You know, I mean, because I expect it with the demo to have demo things, but for what it is, I love it.
I really like the music too. Sorry.
I had like 2 little gripes, and I think one of them was just my game was glitching out. I could not, that first shortcut that you unlock, I could not drop down off the wooden platform.
Huh.
I thought it was like it wasn't in the game even for a moment. I was like, oh, so I had to keep going back to that first room to get to the second. Now the second shortcut had an opening, so I can jump through that just fine. But I kept taking damage going through that first room because you had the fucking candlestick guys, the stabber fucker. It was a guy. I got pretty good at the room, but I ended up getting so frustrated with it that I kind of stopped playing it from there. And I was really hoping it was just the game, like something weird happened with the game, and it wasn't that like you had to unlock an ability to drop down because I was about to scream through the roof, and then he told me, he was like, "Oh no, you down and jump." Yep. I was like, "Yep, did that naturally," and nothing.
Oh, that's weird.
Nothing happened. So the pacing of it being slow, it got to me. I just because I had to keep going through that same room.
That would
But if you say like the speed picks up on it once you start to learn some abilities,
because you feel a little bit more in control, and I think that's the difference. Is like at first you kind of expect something to happen. When it doesn't happen that way, you're kind of like, you get that feeling of like, what am I doing? But once you feel like a little more fluid in the combat, and you feel like you're a part of the combat, I think it flows a bit better.
So like that part where you have to go, they take a low path and there's like a fireball that's just chasing you and you have to dodge all the spikes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking hated that part. Yeah. Having to keep going through it and then going up and then fighting all that stuff. And then, once I finally went around all that eventually and then like break that lantern that raises the gate.
Yeah.
Then right from that point, it was smooth sailing.
That's Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. Like that's all in a nutshell. Like you have to get to the lever that's right on the other side of that gate to pull it. And then you got your
that
shortcut.
Part is like, but that's where I felt like I didn't have the right skills. Like,
what am I doing wrong?
If I had a double jump or if I was just a little faster, something.
I love that whole like push and pull, that optimistic caution you have to have of just like, I can do this, but also I gotta fucking tread carefully here. I gotta watch my step.
And then the other thing was, and I think it's just because it's a demo, I hope the actual game has a little bit more of like a tutorial to it, or it just eases you into the systems.
I don't want that at all. That is
there is way too many systems at one time, and it's fucking overwhelming.
It was a lot, but I don't want it. I don't want a fucking thing on the screen.
I don't need a thing on the screen, but like it's not going to happen because you just saw the full game. It's a week away. But like, I want it to be a room where you focus on your magic, and then a room where you focus on your attack, and then like you get enough for an upgrade, and then you can focus on, I don't know. I needed something to ease me into all these mechanics, but first time about the menu, I was like, there's a fucking rosary, there's a thing in the staff, and there was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was a lot. Like you have to do that at your own pace, I think, which I like that it's a lot of stuff.
A lot of it I just kind of skimmed, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, I did too.
All right, I just equipped this. All right.
And then, like, I played it after that 4 hours of Control, right?
Yeah.
And Control, for as weird as a game as that is, it's slow, like, not slowly, but it introduced mechanics at a good pace. And now I have all these abilities that I know I have, so like I remember to use them. And this, there's just a lot at you at one time. But I don't know, maybe Dead Cells has ruined that genre for me. I absolutely loved and adored that game last year. And there's something about the technicality to Dead Cells, but the speed. Yeah. And I don't think I can get off the speed part of Dead Cells and go back to that kind of slogging, not slow, but you know what I mean? Like, that slower pace again, without it being like an actual From Software game.
I wonder if this will speed up at all. I'm okay if it doesn't.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
It's gonna be one of those things. It's a me thing.
Yeah.
The game looks dope. I like the animation. I know we were talking about you thought it was a little bit Newgrounds on the cutscenes.
The cutscene parts where it's like full screen pixel art. Like some of it just seemed.
Yeah, but that's what's impressive about it.
And I said the same thing last night. I kind of like that they're just kind of leaning into that. Like we're a fucking indie, man.
No, I like it. There was part of it that
It's like something you would see on like an old like PC game.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there was something about it that just didn't. I think it was like a lot of the colors were, like it was just like there weren't shades of red that acted as accent. It was just one color of red. I think just the big blocks of it seemed like I just wanted, you know what I mean, like just another layer of depth to it. I don't know.
You want another layer of blood? Is that?
We could all do with another layer of blood every once in a while.
Small gripes. I probably will pick up this game though.
Yeah, I'm excited. September 10th, Blasphemous coming soon. Speaking of blasphemy, Matt, you got 60 seconds on the clock to talk about Dota.
Dota, the jungle, utility. All right, completed the support. Boom, done. Yes. Now I'm on to the utility characters. Did some Nether realm swaps. Got some different characters in there. Oh my god, some of the utility characters actually a lot of fun. Making my way through. Downtown? Walking, yep, exactly. And then I got to face my fears. The Broodmother came up, and I scouted the room that she's to next, and there was one of those Covenant treasures that I needed. So I played the Broodmother, the fucking giant spider who creates little spiderlings.
That's amazing.
And that swarms enemies. The first game, I single-handedly lost the game for my team because I just kept feeding my opponents because I didn't know how to play her. And then I fucking dominated with the goddamn spider 2 games in a row.
That's good about anything. Like, playing a different character in anything can always, like, teach you, like, Smash, Mortal Kombat, whatever your thing is, right? Like, just pick something you never play, and it's funny how, like, quickly you realize, like, how good you can be. It's neat.
And I had a sweet, one of the treasure chest things. I got a sweet, like, wood, it's kind of like a mechanical, like, wooden spider set I got. She actually looked real cool as I was crawling around fucking eating people to death. It was.
But we had that in Overwatch. Like you're like, yo, I'm not playing healer this time. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm Mercy. Like, fuck it. And just pretty fun.
Oh, I got my cowboy on last night. That's right. I forgot.
Fucking stupid sniper shot.
Bob! That was the best part of last night was yelling Bob through the microphone only to Joe.
Did you guys play anything else this week that you wanted to kind of quick hit on?
I mean, I finished Resident Evil 4, so again, but
still best Resident Evil, or
it depends what we're talking about.
Yeah,
I don't care for the story.
You don't want to say the president's daughter?
I mean,
it's fucking weird. Yeah,
no,
it's just a very action movie.
Yeah,
whatever. But no, I mean, gameplay's fine.
The end of that game is so great. We're both on a jet ski in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's the jet ski game we were thinking of.
You know,
oh yeah, that last escape.
Ashley wearing a sleeveless sweater with a sweater tied around her neck. It's fine.
Yeah, that was the fashion of the early 2000s. I don't know if you were there or not, but that's what we wore, Mark.
I keep diving in here and there for an hour or two for the Master Chief Collection, that multiplayer. Still sticking around.
Yeah, I saw my little Xbox feed. Just occasionally, I just get these little blips of Matt achievements and Master Chief Collections.
It's fucking Halo's cool, man.
It is cool.
It's just a shame that I didn't own an Xbox until this year.
Now you have it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know him until last year.
Yeah.
You didn't own an Xbox? You didn't own Xbox?
I mean, 360 was my
I
last.
didn't have, this is my first
Xbox.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, been that Sony fanboy.
Speaking of Sony
Jackie
fanboys, we're talking about a game that came out on the Nintendo Switch called Astral Chain, developed by Platinum Games, which I am 3 missions into, or 3 files into.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because you, Matt, play as a cop in this game, which, as you know, breaks one of my rules. But, all right, so you play as a cop. Game starts out where this group of scientists are, you were saying some shit with Control that got me a little like, wait, what? Are you talking about Astral Chain here? These scientists go into a different plane of existence, and they're pulling out these weird monster. Plane. Yeah, right? They're pulling out these weird demon monsters, and then they're kind of capturing them, and then binding them to you, a neural cop, through a chain. Get it? Astral Chain.
It sounded like the Federal Bureau of Control until the last part where it kind of binds to you. That doesn't really happen too much in Control.
You mix Control with Pokemon.
So if you thought that Blasphemous had some intricate control schemes going on, there is so much to this game in the way of like how you play and what the controls are. Like every button does something, which I really have come to appreciate the further along I've played through the game. I'd say with me screwing around and doing some of the side stuff and getting lost in the police building, like I maybe 4 or 5 hours into the game at this point, and I've done the 3 first missions. So it's dual joystick play. You move with your left stick, and you have at the start you have a melee attack that's kind of like a sword baton thing, and you have your gun. ZR is both of the, right? So you have your gun out, ZR shoots. You have your sword out, ZR is going to swing and slash and all that stuff. When you want to call your Astral Chain, your Legion is what they're called. When you want to call your Legion out, it's ZL to call them out. Bob. You can move them out. You can scream Bob. You hold ZL and push with the right stick to move them. And then like there's astral jumps you can do where you move them forward and then hit ZR to jump you to them. It's like there's a lot, but they do kind of slowly dole it out to you. Like you're being introduced to these mechanics little by little, and they have a very thorough and very encouraged training section, because you go in, you do like the virtual training in the police academy or whatever. You go in, you fucking hit a button on the computer and you jump in and you do these training missions to learn how to use your astral connection. You learn how to use the Legion that you're attached with. You get combo attacks. So you get to a point where slashing a few times will build up a little like flash combo. Like there's a visible flash on the screen, and at that point you pull ZL and your Legion will attack, and as it's doing this cool finisher move, it might flash again, so you can jump in. Like you can start to chain things together in a way that makes combat make sense. And I'll say that the first kind of few story missions, something felt generally weird about the combat. Like it felt like slow and weird, and I was at first like kind of turned off by it. Like, didn't really want to keep going. Like, it was not bad in that way. It was just like I felt like tongue tied in my hands. But I kind of stopped for a bit, and like I walked away from the game and thought about it and came back to it because it's like hearing your favorite band's new album and you don't like it at first because it's different than the last one, and you're kind of like, they sound different, but you go back to it and it's like, no, they should sound different because they're growing and you're growing with them because they're changing, and now you're changing because you're going with it. And that's kind of what Platinum's doing. Is they very easily could have, there's traces of Nier, there's traces of Bayonetta, there's traces all the way back to like the Devil May Cry stuff. That's all here, but it's something more than that, and I really like the direction they're going. By the time you get to the end of File 3, you get some really wild finishing moves. You also get your second Legion. You get, and the first one you have is a Sword Legion, or at least the one I have, because I play you start off as one of two twins. So the one I chose gets the Sword Legion, and the other one in my story had the Arrow Legion. But now I have both of them for story reasons. Yeah, like there's pieces that you kind of feel familiar, and I think that's what I was struggling with, is like I wanted it to feel like more like Bayonetta, but it wasn't, and I didn't know what I was doing wrong. But the more you kind of just take this for what it is, like you learn its systems, and I think they reward you in the end for it. There's a lot of cool variety. You can hold ZL and then move the right stick to draw your Legion around someone, and like literally you chain them up and like bind them by chains, so you can go in and do all these hits without them doing an attack. There's one where if you notice an enemy is going to charge at you, you can step aside and throw your Legion like to kind of like fucking, stupid cartoon style, like hold a chain in front of it and trip it. So it'll literally like go into your Astral Chain between the two of you, and then you just fling it backwards and then go chase it down and beat the shit out of it. Like there's cool. A lot of cool combat stuff that starts to come up from it. Your weapons upgrade, and they change how the weapons perform and behave. It's cool. The story is, people are going missing because these people from this chimera world are coming. These creatures are coming in and stealing people. So you're kind of jumping between our realm and the shadow realm to stop the. Because that's the thing. Like, your legions are technically these wild beasts too. So there's parts where like you fight other people's legions that have become unchained. Like there's a lot of that kind of stuff that plays into it.
Okay.
I think it runs really, really well on Switch. It looks really great. It's got like a cell shaded look to it, but it all works really well. The UI is this is the first time in a while where I stopped to just play with the menus and just interact with the UI in a way. Like you feel encouraged to just explore every menu option, because there's so much between upgrading your character, upgrading your Legion, changing your costume, changing your colors, changing the color of the UI. As you do things, you get new colors unlocked for the UI based on little side missions you do. There's all sorts of weird stuff in the world. Like as you walk through, you can use, there's something called Iris. You press start and it opens up Iris, which is almost like detective vision in a way. And you look out and you can see in the world like little points of interest, and they're like little mini missions within the big mission. So if you just want to plod forward and just, do the story beats, you can. But if you do the side missions, you're rewarded with other pieces of gear or things to wear or different color schemes to equip to yourself or your Legion. And dumb shit. Like there was one point where like I found a soccer ball and I like walked up to it and kicked it, and it just like kicked. I was like, that's stupid. And then like you go like a couple like corridors ahead and you're in this other place, and there's these kids that are standing around, and you kind of talk to them because you're investigating this crime scene. And the one kid goes, "Have you seen my soccer ball? I left it around here somewhere." I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, I did." And I ran all the way back and like took my time to like baby it back, because it's not built to be a soccer game, so it's not like it's like staying with you or anything. And it was like harder to control than like the fucking beach ball in Destiny in the tower. Like it's rough. But I somehow got all the way back to the kid, and it immediately popped up with this like cha-ching success thing, and it was like gave me some stupid reward for babying the soccer ball back. And like totally optional, totally stupid, but the fact that it's in there, like there's so much weird little detail in the game where just talking to people on the street gives you different things. Just wandering through the police headquarters and interacting with people You find different things. You learn different things.
Explain your text to me.
Huh?
Your text.
Which part?
The dog.
Oh, the dog. There's a girl named Marie, who is in this dog costume, and she goes around. She's kind of like a tutorial dog for you when you're in the headquarters, and it reminded me of Isabel. So I was taking pictures of it and sending it to Mark and tweeting about it.
It's like a weird like mascot.
Yeah, and like she pops up all the time. In and out of costume. When she's out of costume, she pretends like. He's eating right now. Like it's that kind of weird, dumb relationship.
That's good.
The only thing that so far I'm kind of like is you have a silent protagonist, which feels so out of place. The same way that Fire Emblem felt out of place because everyone else is fully voiced. The interactions between all the characters are really, really great and well done, and your character just stands there like a fucking lump. Doing nothing. And at first I was like, okay, but your twin is fully voiced. And I looked it up. If I chose the female twin. If you choose the male twin, then the female is fully voiced and the male twin is silent as the protagonist. So it's just that you, the protagonist, are silent, which is clearly a choice that someone made along the way. I just don't know why that was the choice that was made. Like,
yeah,
it just removed the character from this. And like when you start the game, they put an emphasis on letting you have a little bit of like freedom with what you choose for your character's name and what they look like a little bit. But I kind of wanted it to have its own identity because it didn't let me choose anything about my brother. My brother is named Akira and he looks how he looks, where I could make mine, whatever skin tone, whatever hair color, whatever eye color, and I could name it fucking Beefcake if I wanted to. But my brother's always going to be Akira. And I'm sure if you start as him, you can name him whatever, make him whatever, do whatever. And the sister would be, I don't know what the standard name would be. You know what I mean? Like whatever the default name is with the default personality and all that stuff. Like, yeah. I kind of wish that it was a little more like it would have made me care about the character more because I don't care about myself in this game. You know what I mean? Like I don't see myself in this character. So I'm not like projecting myself and saying like, well, this is what you know what I mean? Like I kind of want them to, the same way that you kind of fall in love with like 2B and 9S and all those characters in Nier because of who they are. Like you kind of want that here.
Yeah.
Also, this game is definitely in the Nier universe. At one point, one of the director of the police or whatever the fuck, he's talking about like the next kind of big thing that's coming and how they have to trap these things and whatever. And he was like, and if not, we will become as gods. And I was like, confirmed. Nier universe.
So this is open world?
Okay. So you've got your police station. You can go on any floor. I love the way they do the elevator too, because it's not like an elevator where there's a loading screen. Like you are legit just riding an elevator. Like the distance, the time it takes for you to go from floor 1 to floor 4 is different from floor 1 to floor 2. Like it's fucking stupid, but cool. So you're in there, and that's kind of in between missions. You get returned there, and you're wandering around. But when you get a new file to go out and explore, you're taken to kind of like a neighborhood or something like that.
A set area. Yeah.
And within that area is where you're kind of exploring and just uncovering things. There's, depending on which legions you have unlocked, you can affect different things in the world, and you'll start to find different portals to the other world that you end up going to.
This is very similar to Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth.
So I get a lot of Digimon vibes from this too. Like the legions themselves, like the way they're designed, the character, like the models of them.
Hold on, I just need to buy the game real quick.
Yeah, I mean seriously, like this is, but I did warn you yesterday. Like,
yeah,
I think this is a full ass Mark game. And I think everybody should try it. If you like Platinum stuff, I think this is a really, really good Platinum game. It is a lot to, like, there's a lot to it. And I know how Mark Brain works specifically, that like you're going to get into doing all, like every single thing you can possibly do, you're going to want to do. So if you're ready to get lost in something, do it. If you got nothing else, but if you're like in the middle of juggling stuff and you really don't want to pull your attention away, because this will pull your attention away in the best way possible. There's so much to it. Like Dude, earlier when I was writing up my show notes, I just fucking loaded it and stood still because the music in the middle of the police station is so good. Like, just the music is great. It sounds like there's a little bit of Nier in the soundtrack. There's a little bit of like indie electronic cyber goth cool shit, and then sometimes it's just like raw ass fucking blast beat metal while you're fighting a cool like chimera boss. It's
touch of Metal Gear Rising in there.
You've got, dude, there's like so many elements of all their past games, but in this brand new package that's just really impressive. A lot of fun to play. I really at first did not like ZL as my attack, and you can change that kind of, but then it changes some of the other button configurations.
There's like preset mappings they give you.
Yeah, they give you 4 options.
Imagine splitting the Joy-Cons up between you and one other person trying to play that.
So you can.
Really? Like intentionally?
There's a co-op mode in the menu. You
shit.
You hit select, you scroll over, and there's a thing that's just turn on co-op. And I haven't tried it yet, but maybe we can try it after this. Yeah, it's straight up co-op. So
nice.
And it seemed to suggest by the design, again, can't stress enough how good the UI is. The symbol they use looked like just a single Joy-Con. So you might be splitting Joy-Con. One of you controls the character, and the other controls the Legion. But yeah, I think I covered everything. It's an impressive game, man. It's a lot of fun. The thing about the different files is as you're going through each area, you've got the points of interest. Like there's, I guess I already said that. I don't know. You also find things like, oh, that's what it was. Okay, sorry. So each stage kind of starts off with a crime that happened, right? Like someone went missing or something happened, and you go there and not unlike Batman, like you go there and kind of reconstruct the scene. You're using your iris to scan the area, and you dial into, like the one I did, there's a drone that's kind of like, there's like a piece of it or something, and you kind of like look back through security footage and you reconstruct the scene to see that like something attacked it. But the thing is like you as the police force are the only things that can kind of see the stuff from the other side. Like the because you have this link is what you see. Like people in the real world don't see that link. Which is why like some of the missions, like you can creep up behind somebody. Like if you go up and ask somebody like, hey, did you see anything here? And they're like, fuck you, pig. So you walk away and you push your chain over to them and you listen then, and they don't know any different.
Can you switch between all the different...
you just hold Y and push the direction.
Oh, that's it?
Yep.
So it's on the fly.
Yep. Okay. And same thing with your healing items. They're all bound, or any item, they're bound to X. So grenades, medicine, buffs to your whatever. That's all bound to X. And if you want to change what that is, you hold X and you can spin around a wheel and choose one of the other items.
Okay.
You've also got, that's the other thing too, is the Legion itself is on a constant timer. So it starts at 100 and it's always ticking down, 99, 98. As you do different like big attacks, it'll fill that meter and overfill that meter. And you can use items that'll boost it. And that's something that levels up too, where it's not 100, it's 110.
So that's like encouraging to do like big combos. And
it keeps that, because if it drops to 0, it'll retract automatically and will not come back until it ticks back up to 100. So you should be careful if it gets down really low to call it back in, because it'll recharge faster than if it automatically drains.
Do you always have to fight with?
No.
You can just fight by yourself?
Yep. Yeah. In fact, there's a point where you have to fight your Legion. So there's definitely, and you can hold your own there, but the Legion gives you abilities you don't otherwise have.
Right.
Which is cool. Astral Chain is the name of the game. And that is everything we played this week, I think, right?
Yeah.
Got it. So final verdict, Blair Witch. If you got Game Pass, I would say give it a shot.
Oh, that's right. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, I probably wouldn't go jump it. I would wait for like a sale on that one.
I'd wait for a patch.
That too. Probably.
I may run it. Who knows? Probably not.
Blasphemous. You can't check out the demo because it's not available, but I really liked it. Even Matt kind of lukewarm on it. Still probably going to buy it?
Yeah. How much was it?
I think it's 20.
Yeah. I might not buy like day one, but I'll buy it.
Yeah. Control.
Yes.
Yeah.
At PC.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you got
to
a card.
To be fair, I saw that the the Xbox versions of Control are seemingly more favorable than the PlayStation ones. Frame rate's a little bit better. The resolution might not be as sharp on the Xbox One S version, but Xbox One X is supposedly really good. There's a Digital Foundry video on that and on all the ray tracing stuff if you want to check those out. And then Astral Chain we just talked about. I can't recommend that enough. I really, really like that game.
Yeah, I was at a point between either getting Control or Astral Chain. And I think I do want to play both. I just don't know when.
I would get Astral Chain first. Let Control patch up a bit.
Xbox One X though, you should be good, pretty good, on Control, according to that thing. So, you guys need a break real quick? Take another quick break, and we'll come back with a list of news stories, and then our emails. Podcast@thefreecheese.com is where you can go and email us if you want to be a part of the show. We'll be right back. We've got 11 news stories to talk about, although some of these headlines are just going to be that, headlines. Like this first one, Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy Collection coming January 21st, 2020.
Yeah, boy.
$29.99, PS4, Xbox, PC, Switch. Mm-hmm. And those, I believe, are all the Inti Creates games, a.k.a. the best Mega Man games.
Yes.
Of that, I know you want Legends. I know.
No. I love Zero. That's
followed by Aladdin, preceded by Aladdin and the Lion King Remaster Collection, October 29th, $29.99. Same platforms. However, these games that are actually coming are the Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and Super Game Boy versions of Aladdin and the Lion King. Which Genesis is always better. So there you go.
Or for Switch, it's Loin King.
Oh, did they?
There's a typo on the spine.
Come on, guys. Come on. How do you... All right, I get it.
Some intern, that's why.
Yeah. Additionally, we've got Mario Kart Tour now set to release on September 25 on your cellular telephone.
Bar still low.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Can Nintendo make the best mobile game yet?
I don't know about that one.
I am on stage like 140 of Dr. Mario. I do keep plugging away.
You're really? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Where am I at? I'll boot it up. I plug away, man. 143.
Wow.
I did like the tutorial Pokemon Masters, then uninstalled it.
I installed it and have not opened it yet.
I installed it and then looked at that icon and was like, I'm never going to fucking play this. And I just deleted it. And then we got Shovel Knight, King of Cards, Shovel Knight Showdown, both coming in December to round out the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove collection. And followed by that, we got the news of that out of a little Yacht Club live stream, and then said, hey, maybe now we'll see what else they're working on. More Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight Dig being co-developed by Yacht Club Games and Nitrome, who brought you Bomb Chicken. Bringing you Shovel Knight Dig, which looks like a weird Dig Dug, SteamWorld Dig, Shovel Knight hybrid kind of thing.
I was getting like some Mr. Driller vibes.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that makes sense. You know, you're actually digging. Shovel Knight didn't do a lot of digging in his main game. So
when we the first like
treasure out,
that's about
instant of Shovel Knight on screen that him at the campfire where it was different art. I was like, they're doing it. They're doing it. And then, okay, well, you know, I kind of want to see what else they can do, you know? Yacht Club. I love Shovel Knight. That is still, I mean, I would never go back on that being Game of the Year 2014. That is, man, that's a damn good game. 5 years ago, I know. But they're a talented studio. I'd like to see what else they can do. So maybe they're still working on some other secret stuff. Who knows? Like Telltale Games, which is being revived and retaining the rights to The Wolf Among Us and Batman.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like older stuff that nobody really knows about, but
2 two people who did not have anything to do with the original Telltale bought the name Telltale and those rights, I believe, at a yard sale in Guatemala, and now are going to do that.
Did they get all the assets and stuff? Like, Wolf 2 had to have been close if they were going to deliver on it.
Yeah, maybe. I know they said that they're willing to hire some of the ex-members back, but as contracts with an opportunity to be full-time.
Which is like, at this point, you've been through the lowest of lows trying to find something. You finally found something. Because remember, they were all let off like without fucking severance or health insurance. Like, that was fucked.
Should have just let it die.
Yeah.
Because I mean, they're still. Did Scalebound take them in temporarily, or are they in?
Skybound.
Yeah, not that canceled Platinum game. Sorry.
You know what? I don't think that was a permanent gig.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Well, I mean, they can get another non-permanent gig again now, I guess.
Potentially.
Why? That name's tainted. Like,
I don't know. And these people don't really have a footing in the gaming industry, it seems.
Yeah, no.
So, and I don't know.
I think they just saw something cheap. Like, all right, people like video games.
Yeah.
Maybe if Telltale kind of dials back a bit, I feel like they were releasing a new series every 3 months. And
it got fatigued.
Yeah, sure. I feel like they did one a year.
Yeah.
I will hop back on that train again. I will play a Wolf Among Us too. I'm ready for it. That first one was damn good.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
I'll play another Batman too. I never played season 2. I take that back. Never mind.
I never played. I kind of want to play those Batman ones. I never did, but. Speaking of games I never played and kind of want to, Spyro is joining Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled in a free expansion coming later this fall. Crash Team Racing. That came out.
Sticking around, man.
Apparently there's a year's worth of content planned.
They have it. Maybe it's just called like Follow Crash Bandicoot subreddit, but I feel like it's got a good online following with like online races and stuff. I see a lot of like those memes of like, the blue shelf equivalent, I guess, in that game. Just shit like that.
Doesn't it have like a Fortnite-like approach with the online?
I do not know.
Like you can use real money to buy things and get cosmetics, and there's a whole like battle pass type thing.
Could I don't know.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wanted to buy it, and then I think it was around the time I bought my graphics card, so money was a little tight. And I want to drop the $40 on something I knew I wasn't going to play right away, so I just never pulled the trigger.
I keep thinking about it. Like, literally, so I got the that 8-bit do controller finally to work on my PC. Turns out you have to hit add a new device.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anyway. And
moving on.
My test bed for any new controller on PC or any new thing on PC, whatever it is, right? If something changes, is Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. So I was like, if I like, maybe I'll get Crash on PC.
You know what's funny? My Xbox One controller, to sync that, you have to go to the Bluetooth thing. There's a section where you can sync controllers.
And it's
it's just new device.
Yeah. Yep. Because the controllers is for the old Xbox One controller that wasn't Bluetooth compatible.
You know how long it's been since I've played with a DualShock 4? I started getting a blister where I rest my finger on the trigger playing Blasphemous yesterday. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, boy.
It was real weird. I need to start playing my PlayStation again.
What's to play? I was playing Mortal Kombat this week a little bit, and that felt pretty good.
I want to play that cinematic game. Was it Erica or whatever?
Yeah. But that I feel like you play mostly with your phone, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a touchpad for your DualShock.
Speaking of touchpads for your DualShock, September 9th, it's going to bring us some news for Resident Evil. What do you think it is? Remake 3 or 8?
Neither.
It'll be something different.
I think it's neither.
Or a new fucking movie.
It looks like a movie from the thumbnails.
Yeah.
The Project Resistance.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be like a spin-off multiplayer thing, like Left 4 Dead-ish. That's what everyone is kind of on the consensus of. I mean, dude, with that engine, I'm totally down for that. Because World War Z is not filling that gap that I want for Left 4 Dead.
Nah.
Outbreak. They did this with Outbreak, and it was a cool idea, just not well executed.
It was ahead of its time. I think.
Yeah, and I think if they
PS2 online,
I think if they obviously don't use the name Outbreak, but did that similar thing again, I think it could be something cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing. It's not. It doesn't seem big enough for remake 3 or
right. I think they're going to take
or 8.
Well, because this is probably what they were working on right after 2. It's probably taking 2's engine, and I think a lot of that what if scenarios kind of made them think like, what if we just had more characters together?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there's ever been a 4-player Left 4 Dead game like that outside of like, I don't know if Mercenaries is even 4-player, or I'm not going to count the Counter-Strike bullshit.
I was gonna say I was about to mention that game. It's like remember that shit. No, Outbreak was the only one.
Speaking of Capcom, a recent $19 million royalty was reported during a financial briefing. $19 million royalty in digital contents from intellectual property.
Resident Evil Resistance.
Yeah.
We know Monster Hunter movie's coming out.
The theories are that someone bought an IP, that someone bought the exclusive streaming rights to a game, for example, like a Resident Evil 7 on Game Pass type deal.
There's also a Resident Evil series coming to Netflix.
Okay. This apparently the Netflix deal is under a different listing financially, so it's not an adaptation. They ruled that out.
All right, I'm glad he looked into that.
And the other possibility is maybe an exclusive title like Dead Rising 3 on Xbox was, and like Street Fighter 5 on PlayStation was. I like Mark's theory. Hopefully someone bought Darkstalkers so someone can give a shit about it again.
Man, imagine Darkstalkers.
What were the theories again?
Someone bought an IP.
I thought we were talking about specifically the IP.
That someone bought the exclusive streaming rights to something like, a specific game on Game Pass. Or an exclusive title for a particular platform.
I know we just said about the Netflix Resident Evil thing. Did that also apply to Devil May Cry?
Like whatever listing that was. Yeah, like I think that's how they determined it. They looked at stuff like that and it was like, hey.
Okay, because I forgot that was happening too.
Yeah, the line item in the financial report that talks about our Netflix properties is listed as this, not as...
Wait, that wasn't a rumor, right? There is a...
The Devil May Cry?
That's real.
Yeah, it's Adi Shankar, the guy who did...
Castlevania? Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Yo, what if it's Dino Crisis?
What if you could get married by Duke Nukem? Ben, pay attention. You got one of those weddings coming up.
I'll be there.
No, even better. Wait. What if you can get married by Big the Cat?
Reach out now.
Not there anymore.
Because dude's letting you do it if you want. Would you get married by a celebrity, and who? Is my question.
Ooh.
Your boy's skinny penis.
Yeah, I use the term celebrity loosely here.
If I could have... Victoria never allow it, but if I have Fred Durst...
Why would that not be allowed? That is perfect.
She doesn't even know who Fred Durst is, which goes down another rabbit hole there.
Goes down another rabbit hole of why you get married in the first place.
Do you mean like she also doesn't know Limp Bizkit, or knows Limp Bizkit but doesn't know that Fred Durst?
She doesn't know either.
Wow.
She lives under a rock sometimes.
Come on, dude.
It's a little frustrating.
I mean, it's probably for the better.
No, it's not.
No.
I'm a better person for
no, man. See, we're done for. There's no turning back. She has a chance.
No, if anything, she has no chance.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Here's another good one.
Reggie
would be good.
Jack Tretton. Yeah, you can go to any of them.
See, but I don't need a man's whole dick hanging out while I'm getting married.
I'm for it.
Like you know how with weddings they roll out that whole thing for the bride.
Jack Tretton's dick.
Yeah. I want Phil with the side. You know that side talk grin he does. I want him to just do that the whole
thing. Where he's talking to the whole crowd. Just.
Yeah.
Do you, Matt, take Victoria?
He's wearing a shirt that has both your faces on it.
Yeah.
With the leather jacket.
In Minecraft graphics.
Here at Xbox, we...
Yeah, it has to be at their place. That's what makes it free.
Pretty good.
And then he hands out. He shoots a Game Pass codes out of his dick.
Matt, tell me about Cyberpunk 2077.
I can't wait.
We've got a 14-minute deep dive trailer into the world of Keanu.
Oh my god. This game, I've never been more excited for a game, I don't think ever. I can't think of a game I've been waiting for like this in a long time. Including Death Stranding, for as weird as that fucking thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did the same thing throughout the 14 minutes where it's like someone kind of narrating, kind of doing that again. They were talking about two gangs. I think one was like the Animals and the Voodoo Rangers, if I remember right.
That sounds about right.
And they were kind of saying, doing the same thing. They were talking about like I think the Voodoo Rangers hired you for a mission to take on the Animals, and it was saying like you have X amount of ways to take this on. And it showed two builds, one being a solo build, which was like a warrior, like guns blazing, and a net runner build, which was like hacking, being stealthy, that kind of stuff. They went into detail about like how like you can interact with different things, like the same thing but in different ways. They were talking about some of like the higher like corporate things and what would happen if like you were to attack one of these corporate people, like you could hack them, but there's different reprimands that would happen to you doing that. They tease a little bit more of Keanu. Evidently he had an implant built by him is in your head. I think that kind of relates back to him finding you in that dumpster or that whatever happened there.
They're making it seem like you don't know if he's real or not.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit, but I don't know. They're very careful with what exactly they said, because they were like, and if you're wondering how that got there, well, that's the story for another day. Hinting like they might talk about his backstory a little bit more before the game, or like the day the game comes out, you'll find out. Yeah, find out more. They talked about a little bit more of RPG mechanics. They said, you don't pick a build and stick to it. It's very open and flowing. You can kind of do any kind of hybrid you want to. There's nothing stopping you.
I think you can even do like a pacifist run.
Because
the people I was watching that were watching that, they were able to play it at E3. And,
nice.
And that, because that's what that is. It's a digestible version of that E3 demo, and they just broke it down. But they were asking all sorts of questions about it. But.
Yeah, I mean, they were saying like at the end, like the end boss of that mission, you could finish them off or let them, let them walk away, kind of like. So I wouldn't be shocked. Deus Ex lets you do that, so it's nothing new by any means of the imagination. I think, that's the 2-minute recap of 14 minutes of awesome
the
gameplay.
long distance hacking, that seems OP. You just throw a wire for, like, that has to be like a later in game skill, I feel.
The beginning of that does say like this is later main story, and they try to cut out as many spoilers as possible, but be careful. I know it was maybe not watch it, but I'm glad I did, because it just got me even more hyped.
Yeah, I watched it too. It was pretty enjoyable. I like that.
Yeah, They seem to get the shooting down. I saw a melee animation or two that seemed like the animation itself didn't look rough, but it seemed like the melee in that game didn't look like crisp and fluid yet. But I know we're still probably 8 months, 6-7 months, something like that away. Like that. So there's still time. But for them being the Witcher team with swords and stuff like that, they seem to have the FPS shooting thing down, which is good. Oh, and they were talking about the city, that city they were in, about it being like, it was supposed to be this big budgeted city, and then when the economy got uncertain, a lot of investors pulled out, so it was like half unfinished wasteland of a city that all these gangs live in, but it's great for like the black market.
We got a cyberpunk Baltimore, basically.
Oh, it's not that bad. Baltimore's not that bad.
Some parts of it.
Give it time. Give it time. Cyberpunk, where is that? Is that straight on their YouTube or?
Yeah, it's right on their YouTube. A bunch of the news outlets have it.
Cool.
So it looks good.
Yeah, and if you paid attention to any news outlets this week, you'd also know our last story of the week, that a Nintendo Switch carrying case made its way onto Amazon for just a brief moment, but all that brief moment showed us what might be coming. An Overwatch-themed Switch case showed up on Amazon, credited to Nintendo and Blizzard. and then was immediately taken down. So
yeah, that's probably somebody who just handles just merchandise stuff or whatever, upload stuff to to the webpage, and not real. They have probably have no foot in that field of like, oh, this is supposed to be. Oh shit. Okay. Let me remove it.
People pointed out that the manufacturer Power A also produced a Diablo 3 carrying case that is very similar to that. So
they also do the Crash Bandicoot controllers for Switch.
So that leads me to go back real quick and take a look at what we got with Diablo 3 Eternal Collection as an exclusive on Switch. You got the Kuko companion pet,
the best one,
a Triforce portrait frame, and a transmogrification set that lets you look like Ganondorf.
And stupid expensive.
Yeah.
For each part.
Yeah. So, knowing what we got with Diablo 3, what thing did you think you wanted, but maybe not like this, do you think we'll get as a skin in Overwatch?
I would love, I know I listed before, like, off air, like, what cool skins they could probably do that are Nintendo exclusive.
Yeah.
But knowing my luck, it'd probably just be just recolors of the costumes. Like, here's a red and blue, here's a green and blue, here's your Mario-inspired skin colors, but no real cosmetic changes. My
favorite one that you had was the Winston one.
Oh, just naked as Winston with a red tie. That's it. Easiest thing to do. Really
They could make the hamsters ball the Metro, like Samus, ball it up.
I was even thinking that or something like Pokemon.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool too.
He'd be like Pikachu colored, and then
oh man,
in the Pokeball rolling around.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Just this Pokeball with guns.
You could do a lot of cool stuff with those.
Metro makes more sense.
The Metro, but the hamster does have the bombs.
Yeah.
So like you could do a little.
Oh my god! Put a little hamster in a little Zero Suit outfit.
Yeah.
That'd be a little weird.
Fuck it.
That gets to that stage where I'm like, oh man, that crosses a lot of lines and I feel uncomfortable.
I got 2 more questions for you to close out our news here. If it comes, which it seems like it will. I mean, we kind of, even before this little leak of a case, after Diablo 3, first question everyone asked Blizzard was, will you bring Overwatch to Switch? And they said, we could probably do that. Are either of you interested in playing it on Switch?
No.
That'll probably be a game similar to Fortnite where you can just talk through your headset plugged in to a Switch. But if I get it, it's because of the stupid skins.
That's exactly
and
where
like that's a dumb reason to get it already.
Like I ended up not, but I wasn't gonna buy Rocket League on there, but just so I could have the fucking Samus car, I almost bought that game on there. Just for I barely play that game, and I've got it on PC and PS4.
Or what I'll do, I'll probably just look at them online versus see like, all right, that's cool, and then not.
It depends, man. Anything. If it's a character I play and I can have a cool Nintendo thing, I don't know. And final question.
Because I don't play it enough as it is on PC, where it lives at home.
I don't really play
on
it.
Switch, and I barely play my Switch anyway now.
Going the other way with it, ignoring all rumors, and because who knows about that. But if an Overwatch character is to make it into Super Smash Brothers, which one and why?
Like, which one do we think they would pick? Or which one?
Which one do you want?
What would we want if we could only pick from
Mercy? You just fucking heal everything. You don't even attack. No. Oh, I don't know.
I think
it's got to be Hanzo, right?
Mm.
And then the final smash would be the fucking dragon. That's so easy.
Diva. Final smash is fucking the
launch the mech over and nerf this.
And then she runs around Zero Suit style.
I think
Tracer would be too OP.
I would just fund Reaper, and all you have is just spam A to just shotgun, and maybe up E to like Shadowport or whatever.
No, another OP character.
That's it. That's all it is.
All right, perfect.
Shy Guy Reaper skin, by the way, I would really like.
Oh, that'd be good.
You could do Winston and just give him a red tie.
Oh wait,
easy.
Oh man.
All right, so I finally logged in and checked out the old email account, which brings us to some emails.
Wait, how old are these? Are they?
No, they're fairly recent.
Okay.
In fact, one so recent, Joshua writes in and says, after the buzz this week about Control's console performance, it got me even more eager for the next generation of consoles. With all of the acquisitions from Microsoft and Sony picking up Insomniac, we're primed for a big launch. What do you want to see in the next generation of consoles launch lineup? Joshua.
Launch lineup.
Halo's inevitable.
Yeah,
right?
That's we already know that one.
With Microsoft in a weird place, I think they're going to come out with a lot of new IPs.
A lot of new IP.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, they're not going to keep... I don't know. I don't think they're going to have those studios keep doing the same thing they've been doing. Because they're probably studio-owned IP, right?
Yeah. You think Perfect Dark comes back?
You keep plugging for Perfect Dark, and I don't think it's going to happen, dude. Who's got the chops on Microsoft to do a first-person shooter that isn't already doing Halo?
One of those new studios they bought or made. You got that one down in L.A. What are they up to, man? You know, make a perfect.
Oh, that one like All-Star one, whatever.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I don't know.
So PlayStation.
Yeah, what do you think of PlayStation launch lineup? Do you think they could sneak out a Spider-Man by then?
Spider-Man 2 as like a launch for PS5?
Yeah.
I could see that.
It'd be, 2 years after the last one came out, but the biggest part of an open world game is making the open world. They already fucking built New York. What else are you going to do? You put in some more boroughs and stuff.
I think you might see God of War.
God of War is a launch title?
Yeah, because what's his face? The director, Corey Barlog, is that his name? Yeah, he even said that he could do so much more with the PlayStation now that he's built the engine or the PS4.
Yeah.
And if they just scaled it again,
well, it seems like the next console is going to be
cross-gen.
Yeah.
And so I think, I mean, they got the realms ready to go. Like, dude, half of them are locked in that game. So it's intriguing.
What other studios are we talking here with PlayStation? Naughty Dog, seems like Last of Us is going to be out before then.
That's going to be the PS4 swan song, like it was the PS3 swan song.
Death Stranding's already going to be out. You think Horizon 2?
Oh, I would love that.
Did the table just lift up?
I would love that. Yeah.
That would be time.
I forget all the companies that Microsoft bought.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they bought a lot. They got, Compulsion that made We Happy Few. A whole lot more. The State of Decay people.
Like the 9 other ones.
Undead Labs. They bought Playground. They could have that new Fable thing that's been rumored for fucking ever. Because if you notice, this year, Forza skipped a year. And they're just going to extend Forza Horizon support.
With Legos.
Yeah. And then, presumably, next year, we would have our Forza 8. And then that...
Because you got to have your car game.
But next year should also be... Next year would have been the Forza Horizon 5 year, where this year would have been Forza 8. So that kind of moves things around a bit. So maybe the rumors of that Fable thing are more real than not.
So, all right, with the car game coming, you're going to have Gran Turismo.
Oh, yeah, man, they could do that. It's been a while since the Gran Turismo. That was like 20.
Like a numbered one.
Yeah.
What, 6? Or
7? I don't remember now. Maybe 6. 5 was the last one I remember.
5 was late PS3, right?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, because the only PS4 one was Sport, which you had to get the fucking driver's license.
Yeah.
Respect. That was weird. Yeah, so you're going to have your car games on each.
Like, I really want Rare to do something, but I think they're just going to be on Sea of Thieves still.
Nah, I don't know. There was stuff about them having a new IP. Another really? There was something, I don't remember where it came out of, so this is, me half remembering a half remembrance, but that Rare was becoming Microsoft's new IP factory. I remember that distinctly sticking out. New IP factory.
Maybe they'll use the new avatars and do another sports game.
Oh, World of Keflings 2!
Yeah.
Just like saying Keflings because Mark gets real upset.
I hate Keflings.
I know you do.
So much. But yeah, I mean, I feel like something from Rare would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, really, if Rare's still dealing with Sea of Thieves, it really can't be that big of a team to keep adding story beats.
Another Halo boat.
I mean, they're not really changing the game.
Maybe they hop on that. Maybe after the success of Banjo and Smash and everything, maybe they might explore that route again.
Banjo 3. All right, let's do this because I like this question a lot, but I feel like we're doing a lot of speculation here. Let's lay it down. Microsoft. We know Halo Infinite is there at launch. We can safely assume Forza 8 is there at launch. We get a Fable. Is that our third? Is that our trifecta?
I guess.
Or one of those new IPs.
I think it'd just be a new IP.
You can do a new IP if you have two familiars.
All right. So there's our.
I didn't save Fable for like
spring.
Spring or the following holiday.
Yeah.
That'd be big. I think that'd be a big return.
I think another thing too to think about is like a lot of. I think both Microsoft and Sony should, if they have, I'm sure they did, because these people are smarter than I am. Take a look at what Nintendo did in the first year of the Switch. The first year of the Switch was fucking packed because all of the development from 3DS and Wii U got moved over to Switch.
And if we want to go by that,
and we had a game every month, right?
I think a new IP would make the most sense because you probably want something that would utilize just the new system.
Yeah, for sure.
And so
new controller features that will never stick.
Yeah,
right. So you probably just want that game just kind of just be like a frontline demo, but not in a bad necessarily way.
Might get Rise 2.
I mean, because like Wii U, you have Nintendo Land. You have Wii Sports.
Yeah.
You know, like you kind of start to see that.
Yeah.
With other things. So.
How about PlayStation?
Oh, I'm feeling real good about the Horizon 2 now.
Horizon 2?
You fed.
Yeah.
You fed me.
How about Tokyo Jungle 2? How you feeling on that one?
Fuck, if you want to give me that too.
There was a recent interview with Koji Igarashi on this YouTube channel whose name I forget. Archipel? Is that what it is?
Oh.
What if Studio Japan just launched their game at launch? It's like, all right, fuckers, here's your game for the generation.
They might be, dude. Ueda's making a new game.
Is he still in Studio Japan?
I think they're showing off TGS, right?
They have something in the works, but they don't have a publisher.
Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, he's not with Studio Japan.
Yeah, because he was only under contract through the last.
Yeah, but he's definitely working on something.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Patapon 4. There's, my mind starts going wild with this shit. But.
No. Weird on console because of the headphones.
Yeah, PlayStation, Twisted Metal.
Oh my god, bring back Twisted Metal. I've been saying it since this whole Battle Royale shit came back.
That series is coming out too,
dude.
Ring of Elysium. Yeah, Ring of Elysium added vehicles. I think they did like a Carmageddon.
Dude.
If they weren't datum or
that's it. That's all you need to do is just Twisted Metal Royale. Look,
or just Twisted Metal and then have a focus on a Royale mode like Black Ops 4 did.
It was sad what happened with that
fucking cartoon game.
Yeah, just it didn't hit the mark the way that people wanted it to, and then David Jaffe's company had to they were all let go and shut down. But if something good can rise from the ashes of Drawn to Death, it could be David Jaffe returning to Twisted Metal, bringing it back.
I'm also going to say, this is not really part of it, but I'm going to say the sequel to Breath of the Wild is going to be launched with the newer version of the Switch.
Yeah, I agree. I think
I don't know if we can really count that.
No, but I think next fall we get
the beefy one.
Yeah, that beefy Switch, and then we get a Breath of the Wild with it. All right, I bet the beefy Switch comes out like midsummer or probably about the same time the Switch.
They're going to push it because they know it probably can't run well on anything else. So it's like.
You mean don't call it a beefy thing, the Switch Advanced. Look, I'm sticking with that name until they say otherwise.
All right. Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you.
Let's jump to Dave, who says, how do you feel about cheating in video games? I typically shy away from it in cases like rubber banding in Mario Kart DS, but I think that something like the crouch in the corner trick to beat Shadow Link in Zelda 2 is okay, because how can you beat that otherwise?
Oh, Thank you, crouching in the corner. Sometimes you have to do that to move on in video games.
What are you referring to?
Your fucking game, man. How do you not know this?
Quest.
Huh?
Simon's Quest.
Oh, God. You don't do that. That's not... Oh, man. I shouldn't have pulled this email. Cheating in video games. Where do you land on it?
Cheating, like, multiplayer-wise, no.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
well, then you got Mark over there grinning, so I don't know about that.
I don't do it, but I hate it in multiplayer. I agree, but I do find it funny in the one case with when Halo 2 was happening. Everybody would just fucking pull the line from the router, and everything would have to wait and reload. And that's your time to kill everyone.
That's pretty cool. It's a fucked up thing.
I wouldn't do it, but it is kind of funny. Single player though, I feel like cheats should come back. I think that should just be an option you should be able to have just to fuck around with. And
what kind of cheats are you talking about though? You talking about like a god mode? You talking about
always have a god mode, always have a big head mode, always have I don't know, just things that just kind of mess with it. Some things I don't know.
There's something that Shovel Knight did really well. That there's still cheats that people haven't found in that game, but like Shovel Knight has so many weird cheats.
Some of them aren't even like really like cheats per se. They're more like just modifications.
Yeah, just things that fuck with the game a little bit, the game state.
Yeah, but like having something for like infinite ammo or whatever, being able to skip a stage, I think is a good one.
Yeah, it's a real good one.
Or just bring back a password system. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's good.
No, no! Don't bring back a password system. Jesus Christ,
that could be cool.
No, God, no.
Go to options, choose passwords,
and then put in a goddamn 26 character letters, numbers.
No,
and symbols.
You just type in "bacon sucks" and you unlock Officer Dick.
Like in Lion King for Super Nintendo, you hit Barry, Barry. You can go right to the very end.
See, cheats can be good,
but unless you want like that Mega Man password for everything.
No, fuck that. No, fucking weird ass fucking sphere grid. Speaking about the ones I don't like in cheats in games are the ones where you can give yourself too much power, because it's almost like looking up the answer to a puzzle in a puzzle game. Like you're advancing just for the sake of advancement. Like you're not experiencing the game. I feel like those can kind of cheapen it.
Counter question: do you want to earn your cheats, or do you want to do a button input from the beginning, like at the menu?
I think it depends on the cheat.
Because like GTA, getting rid of the stars.
R2, L1, R2, left down, right up, left down, right. That is fucking forever ingrained into my head.
Those are good though. That's a good one.
Would you rather do that or unlock the ability to just turn that on to where you just never have that star rating go up?
I like the idea of doing a cheat code on the fly as all 5 stars are happening around you. Like, I need a weapon.
Yeah, I like that one a lot because the just toggle on and off is kind of like it's like having like dev mode or some shit.
Yeah, like a debug menu in some PC games.
Because I remember when I forget what it was, man. There was a game my brother and I played where we did that, and just by doing it, you're immediately just like it just deflates the whole experience.
Because I like the cheat in Sims.
Oh my god, the Rosebud? Yeah,
and then just getting all shit ton of money, or Star Wars, Jedi Outcast 2, or no, Jedi Outcast 1. That's the second in that whole series, though.
Yeah.
I would have to get that menu to like that kind of debuggish menu to being able to like fly through anything, change my lightsaber color, put all my upgrade force powers all the way up from the beginning. And just had a good time. Like, had all the weapons from the start.
Yeah, you actually, instead of becoming a true Jedi, you're just a fucking Jedi. Like,
and it was fun. People. I love that. It was great.
Yeah, there's stuff, like, I'm thinking ahead. Like, think of, like, Cyberpunk 2077. You're going to have to earn a lot of your hacking abilities, right? What if you're just the fucking hacking god and you just go in and, have fun with it? I have nothing against... I think it's one of those things, it's up to the player, right? Like, back then, every game had cheats. Like, that doesn't mean I used them all the time.
But single player definitely favored.
I mean, add the option, like that's fine. But like so many games have an element of open world. Like think of Control. Like Control, it should be a game that's probably linear, but there's an open world to it just to have it. I feel like, and I could fuck with having like an unlimited energy bar, so I keep pulling shit and throwing it. Yeah, like I think that'd be really cool.
Bring back Game Shark.
Oh, I mean, fucking, we witnessed it.
Yeah, we see it all the time when we play. Yeah. I kind of want to put mine in the back of my PS1 and see what happens.
Because I did that with Ocarina of Time, and you could hit the L button to just float, and I would just fly through.
Can you Game Shark do the tutorial Ocarina of Time? I would love to do that.
Well, you could technically get right to the final boss if you know what you're doing in the beginning of Ocarina of Time.
Oh, it's like regular, not regular, Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Fucking take my sticks.
All right. Thank you, Dave. We got an email from Sarah who says, Mark, can you name the full cast of the BK Kids Club?
What the fuck? How many are there? I forget. Okay.
There are 7 children.
Vid Kid. Right?
I'll give it to you.
That's not his name.
It's Kid Vid.
Kid Vid. Fuck.
I'll give it to you.
Done already. No. The kid with the wheelchair isn't Wheels, is it?
It is Wheels.
Okay.
2 for 2 so far.
It's a different time.
Yeah. Well, I only remember it because of the X-Men movie. Hugh Jackman referred to Professor X as Wheels.
Oh, that's pretty
I
good.
was like, what's your name? That's all I thought of.
Once again, a different time.
Yeah. No, not the top. Fuck. I feel like they're so generic and easy too. Like, because none of them actually have like names. You know what I mean? Like no one, like no one's like, here's Barb and Tom and Steve.
Yeah, no. All right. How about if I describe what they're wearing and you can go from there?
Sure.
You got a little nerdy kid with a backpack full of math and glasses.
Specs.
Full of math.
Close.
No. Goggles. Swirly.
If you know your Rainbow Six operators, that's a hint.
I don't. That's.
Talking about IQ.
Oh damn. Okay.
You got a girl with suspenders and a camera around her neck.
So that was gonna be something photography related.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the names aligned, but
oh man, this is not good. Shutter.
You're close.
You got like the right onomatopoeia. You're on that.
Click.
You're closer.
Flash.
You're
Capture.
You're in that realm.
Snap.
Yeah.
Snaps.
Yeah.
Yep. You got a boy who's wearing a vest that has like crayons and fucking shit hanging out of it.
What? Is it like an art kid?
Yeah, sure.
Or is it just like some fuck? I don't.
Which one is it?
The one in the back there.
Wait, am I able to just get a visual without the names?
Does your picture not have the names next to it? Because mine has the names right next to it.
I can zoom in and block out the names. Here's the kids club.
Okay.
With no names. You're talking about that fuck in the back, right?
Yeah.
Oh man. No, I don't.
That would be Lingo.
Lingo. Okay.
Now we got a kid with green sweatshirt that has a picture of Earth on it.
Captain Planet. No. Globe.
Jaws.
How the?
Don't know.
Is the dog named CJ?
You're real close.
I know it's some like initials. It's 2 letters.
Mm-hmm.
Did I get any of those letters right?
One of the letters is right in the wrong spot.
Is it the J?
Yep.
The J is right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. Okay, so it's J. It's not JC.
Mm-mm.
JF. JD.
Mm-hmm. JD.
It's you.
Yeah, it's me, the dog. And then you got a girl with 7 on her shirt and elbow pads.
Okay, so this is the sporty one of the group.
Oh, it looks like she's wearing rollerblades too.
Yeah.
For fashion.
Derby.
And it's not Wheels.
Derby's. You could have in an alternate universe. You could have named all these kids. These all would have been right.
The only one I had right was, and that's like so unfair. It's so fucked up.
That's not your fault. It's theirs. They did it, not you.
Oh man. Sporty's too dumb.
That's a spice.
I know. I just really want to say sporty. It's not roll. That's copyrighted.
Boomer.
That's like a dog's name.
I know. You could literally like flip flop all of these except for Wheels, and it would probably make sense for any one of the other kids.
I'm gonna memorize this because I feel like this is one of those questions in life where like I'm gonna be in a horror movie. and like this is my way out. Like this is my solve.
Or trivia
puzzle.
for shots, but sure,
Yeah.
I'll take that one. The horror movie.
No, yeah, it'll still be for shots, but which ones are poison? And, thank you, Sarah.
Yes, thank you
for publicly embarrassing me.
And our last question: do you have a game that you love, even though it's broken and not technically a good game? I always go back to Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero because I played it so much during the Christmas break when I got it. It was not good, but at the time I thought I was just bad at the game and really liked taking Sub-Zero on an adventure. Thanks, Greg.
My entire library. That's all my games. I feel like no, but they're just buggy messes, but you just enjoy though.
Yeah, or
just perceived as just being like a really bad game.
I think the thing here is like when you think you're bad at it, but it's really just the game sucks. Like when I read this, Castlevania Adventure is the first one that came up for me because like that game is not particularly great on Game Boy, and I just always thought I was bad at games. But it's just like that game's not good.
Oh, so it's not like a game you love, but that's
no, I love that game so much. The music, Battle of the Holy, is probably
Yeah.
one of the, barring Bloody Tears, and on a good day, this can outweigh Bloody Tears. Battle of the Holy is one of the best Castlevania songs ever composed. But that game feels particularly slow compared to even the original Castlevania. And Simon just has a weight to it, or it's not Simon in that. I forget who it is. Yeah, it's not a great game.
But the question was saying like
a game that you love that's kind of broken or not
Okay.
good,
yeah.
etc.
Ooh, there's a lot to choose from.
I can let you think. I have mine right away.
Go for it.
Enter the Matrix.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
love that one.
Yeah. I played that. It was like I rented it all the time. I never owned it,
Yeah,
but I kept renting it.
yeah
And it
we
was bad.
rented it too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that Dick's rent.
It wasn't even that. It was somebody. The dicks. Somebody, one of our friends rented it and brought it over, and we never played it, but they just left it at our house and never.
Nice.
Yeah, and we had plenty that we never took back, but that was one that someone else never took back, but it ended up at my house and we never played it. But what was that game? You flew around as Neo, or
No, that was Path of Neo was the sequel, which
okay.
actually kind of worked. No, this was the bridge between two shitty Matrix movies, 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You played as Ghost, and what was her name?
Tsushima.
Jada Pinkett Smith.
Yeah,
oh, it's that one.
yeah, but what was her?
I forget her name.
Yeah, and
I'm not good with names.
and it's
Oh yeah.
it's you can play as one of the two characters, and they both kind of like they interweave, but they're their own thing, and it's a broken mess. It's not great, but man, it's the
But you
Matrix
loved
and it was
it.
bullet time.
Was
It
it like
was-
Max Payne bullet time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And then he did the whole diving, and
Oh.
he kept doing the dive backwards and shoot.
That's pretty good. I just
Like it was fucking
saw-
Max Payne.
I got my answer.
I saw an interview with her talking about that recently. I think it came up on a Giant Bomb cast or Giant Bomb game tapes, and it was a thing where they were interviewing the lead actors that were in that, and she was talking about how excited she was about the video game. And, yeah. Mark, what's your?
Sonic Adventure.
Yeah,
You just get used to it.
it.
I mean, the second one is not really. I don't know. It's not necessarily unplayable. You know what I mean? Like,
From the 4 seconds I played of the second one, it seems immediately better than the first one. The first
Yeah.
one is really rough in comparison.
yeah, it holds a little special place.
Yeah,
But that's just one of many.
yeah,
I can't really think of other ones that are like, ugh. You know,
yeah.
that's something I need like a good day to think about.
Cool. Well, thank you, Greg. Thank you, everybody, for writing in. Of course,
Niobe
Ni-
and Ghost.
Okay.
podcast at thefreecheese.com is the email address where you can go and write us an email, ask us a question that we will read on the air.
It's rated 6.9 on IMDb.
There you go. That's how you know it's a winner. And that is going to bring us to the end of the Free Cheese episode 315. Thank you for hanging out with us. Coming up this week, we got... we're filming, but we're not... Doesn't go up yet, does it?
Nope.
Yeah.
Final week.
But we'll have some free cheese wrestling coming soon.
Hell on Earth.
Hell on Earth is coming to a free-to-view pay-per-view near you. You can follow us all on Twitter. The Free Cheese is at Some Free Cheese. Mark is at Og_Mental. Matt is at MattyIce131. I am at The Free Cheese. Go to thefreecheese.com. Take a look at all of our old content. By old, I don't mean outdated. I just mean stuff that we've already done. It's in the past. Therefore, it is old because it already happened. Podcast at thefreecheese.com. One more time for that email address. Send us an email. Ask us a question. It can be anything. See if Mark can name all of the fucking McDonald's mascots next week. He's already got his brain.
I'm studying. I'm going to brush up right now.
Mark's going to come in next week with a list of every mascot ever.
I think I know them all but the bird.
Big Bird.
No. So Wendy.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's Wendy. The one with the goggles that looks like a chicken nugget? Yeah.
Well, that's her before.
Oh, shit. I didn't think about that. Look at that. Yeah, well, chickens were once nuggets. That's it, right?
I think so.
Is it Wendy? Did you find confirmed?
I'm trying to find it. I'm not seeing it.
That's her.
Oh shit, Birdie, the early bird.
Birdie.
No.
I
don't know where this is at. Birdie the early bird.
I swore it was Wendy, the old.
Wendy is the mascot of another fast food chain
I know.
called Wendy's.
Both have pigtails, but
I thought that was why we stopped seeing the McDonald's club crew or whatever the hell they call themselves.
I don't even.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
They ought to bring them back. Bring back the Hamburglar. Bring back
Birdie the early bird, the yellow bird wearing a pink jumpsuit.
Did you have the Transformers of all them little things?
Yes.
Yeah, they're cool.
French fries are my favorite.
Yeah.
And the Big Mac. No, I like them all.
Yeah.
Hotcakes one was that was the good one.
That was a good one.
Fucking hotcakes.
I think I like the Big Mac. I like the shake also. The shake had like a purple dinosaur on the inside.
And then all the Halloween nuggets.
Dude, those hollow nuggets. Oh my! All right, I'm gonna look up me some hollow nuggets right now. That's gonna do it. Thank you for hanging out with us. Go tell a friend to listen to the Free Cheese Podcast, just like you did. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, for listening. Bye.